And now for the game of making sure everything works. Yes, TJ, did you have anything to contribute? Hi. Hi, Kat. Hello. Hi. Alrighty, let's see if things are working. Let me check my Chanel on my phone to get the phone up for admin. Let's see if it's active. What the heck, why isn't anything working? Crap. Alrighty, well, let's see. Let's see what's going on. It's kind of the annoying thing about live streaming. It's like, what's working? What isn't? Okay, the app on my phone is not letting me actually see the stream on my phone. That is odd. Alright, time to just do it in the browser. And okay, it's working. And first chat message is from someone named Fish saying hello. Hello, Fish. Yeah. Alright, so everything's working. I don't know why it's not working on my phone. Which is a bummer, because I wanted to have my phone up for moderation. Because I am going to be in and out of browsers and also in Clip Studio Paint where I usually do my lectures, so if I can't get my phone to function so I can do moderation on my phone, that's gonna suck. But we'll just have to roll with it, I guess, if my phone's not gonna cooperate with me. Yeah, that is odd. So I guess I'm just gonna have to wing it. But yes, hello! Lower the music a little bit just because it's loud in my ears. I guess I've just got sensitive little ears. But yeah! Shadowfox, hello! Let me also turn on the AC because it's hot. But yes, welcome to the stream. It's gonna be a bit spicier than normal. I don't really see myself as like a drama tuber or what have you, but I kinda didn't expect VShojo to implode this week. That was pretty like, who had that on their bingo card? Like, besides the talents and those who were working there. Like, did anyone expect that? So yeah, I have been in and out of, rat circles in the VTuber community, just trying to, like, get as much information as possible. I'm just like, what's the gossip? What's the story? What's the word? Because that's just who I have been this week, basically. Being a rat has given me a lot of ways to socialize, I suppose. Okay, I got it working on my phone. Nice. Alright, so I have my phone for moderation purposes. Hooray! Alright, so now it'll be a little bit easier because I'm going to be in and out of browsers and in and out of Clip Studio Paint, so having my phone for moderation purposes is actually going to be a boon here, as soon as I move my water out of the way. Alright, so I would not have seen this coming a week ago. A week! Yeah, I know, it's only Thursday. Yesterday was Wednesday. I know it was Wednesday yesterday because I got myself some Carvel as a little treat, as a little snack. It's only Thursday. It feels like a month has passed. And Fish saying, to be honest, I forgot VShojo existed because all I hear about is about Niji and Hololive. Yippee! And yeah. I know, it's absolutely bonkers how this implosion is happening in less than a week. It's only Thursday. Started on Monday, it's only Thursday. So, yeah, we're gonna be here for a while, I guess. So, I have a new browser, because my old browser was kind of chugging and slowing down, and I'm like, well, okay, well, I've closed a lot of my tabs out of my millions of tabs that I usually have open, so I don't think it's the tabs that's the problem. So I decided to switch browsers, and it's actually working a lot better, so I'm using a new browser, so forgive me if this is kind of, clunky. Because it takes time getting used to a new browser. It's a very weird transition. It's a lot smoother than I thought it would be, but it's still weird in some places. But yeah, so I actually have all the rats and all the relevant posts open up in an incognito tab. So let's hope it stays that way. And then just today, July 24th, 2025 at 1:58 p.m. At that time, I was taking a nap. But yeah, so we got a post from, Gunrun of VShojo saying, VShojo has failed. I have mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. So today I am sharing the difficult news that VShojo is shutting down, and I take full responsibility for the decisions that have led us to this point. I have been doing everything I can to fundraise and right the ship these past few months, but despite my efforts, we are in a worse position, and those I care about are now paying the price. You don't say. Over the past few years, we raised around $11 million to pursue bold, talent-first approach in vtubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits. I don't know if that really aged well. To achieve long-term sustainability. Well, you didn't achieve that, that's for goddamn sure. Our funding went directly to our creators through generous splits, debut investments, infrastructure, concerts, events, and staffing, all designed to support them. We also wanted talent to own their IP, which we knew was a unique creator-first approach for an agency. However, despite all our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we need to sustain that model, and eventually we ran out of money. There's some speculation about that, in terms of why they might have ran out of money so quickly. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. At the time, we were working hard to raise additional investment capital to cover our costs, and I firmly believed, based on all the information available to us, that we would be able to do so and cover all expenses. We were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts, and I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequences. I'm deeply sorry to all the talents, staff, friends, and community members who believed in our brand. You do not deserve this. You don't say! So yeah, that was made by Gunrun at around 2 p.m. And my cat's causing chaos again. Hold on. Get off the sewing machine. Thank you. Goodness. I don't know why she does this. She's just being a crazy little cat. Come on, sit down. Good girl. Goodness, stop eating the paper towel roll. Stop. You're so weird. Why are you so weird? But yeah. The USS VShojo has been torpedoed and it is tanking in water. It's like, I didn't know it was shutting down. Oh my god. Yeah, I didn't know either. I was taking a nap. I woke up and it's like, VShojo's shutting down. That's interesting. So yeah, it seems like it was a long time coming though, because all the various talents have come out saying that, like, oh, we've known this for a while. We were just never able to talk about it because of NDA, because of this, because of that. The cat's on the sewing machine again. Thank you. Get off the sewing machine. Goodness. Oh yeah, I just remembered. I was gonna give them wet food to bribe them into, just staying hushed and well-behaved. I forgot. I should probably go do that just real quick. So I'll be right back. I'm just gonna give these girls some wet food. I'm alive again. The cats have wet food, so we've bought ourselves some time. Yeah. But yeah, cats being cats. If it's your first time here, I have 2 cats. They drive me nuts, but I love them. Yeah, so... Yeah, VShojo's kind of been revealed to have been misappropriating funds or just not paying people for a while now. And more talents are coming out with like, oh, I wasn't paid, they did this, they did that, and it doesn't really look like it's been doing well behind the scenes at all. Like, it might have been good from the beginning, might have been good for a little bit of time, but then people started playing Mean Girls the home game, and then just everything just started crumbling down. So it's really terrible for the talents that have been affected and the staff and just any person who's even touched or glanced VShojo's way and actually got accepted or had some level of a proper affiliation with them. So it really sucks. Shadowfox saying, Gunrun pulling a Michael, I declare bankruptcy! Yeah, like, Legal Mindset has already talked about what it would take for them to be in bankruptcy now or to file bankruptcy at this point, owing so much money and stealing from charity. So someone, maybe Gunrun, maybe a couple other people, who knows, but at the very least Gunrun is either gonna have to owe some fines or go to federal, go to state pen or something, who knows. So it's gonna be rough. This is gonna be in the courts for a couple years at least. Like, this kind of thing does not get resolved instantly. Like, if they could somehow find the money and give it back to the IDF, that'd be different. But that money is most likely gone and, like, no one's gonna get paid. Which is very unfortunate, because again, there are a lot of talents, there are a lot of freelance contractors and independent artists and musicians that have probably worked with VShojo in the past or have wanted to work with VShojo, and then, you know, the company's going under. And if you're saying can't stay, just popping in to say hi, hello! I hope you're having a fun summer. And Fish saying, I can't believe they stole from charity and thought everything would go well. Exactly, that's the crazy thing. And the other crazy thing is that VShojo and Gunrun have not resolved the charity thing themselves, but you know who has? Ironmouse. And everyone probably already knows. But Ironmouse, because, you know, the Immune Deficiency Foundation, or IDF, has been owed so much money by VShojo, and VShojo just wasn't giving them the money, Ironmouse took it upon herself to just raise the owed money back. So let's see how much they've earned. Oh hey, look at that! Over $1 million! So like twice what they were owed. So I'm glad that's going well for her, but it shouldn't be on her shoulders to have to make up for her former corporation's mistakes. And that really sucks. Insane. It's awesome that she took it into her own hands. Exactly. Like, it shouldn't be something that's her responsibility. It should have just been the corporation to make that donation to the IDF in the first place on her behalf. But yeah, so the Immune Deficiency Foundation was owed $500,000. She's now raised more than double that. So at this rate, we'll probably see it go up to 1.5 or something. If it hits 2 million, that'll be absolutely insane. But this is a cause that she really cares about. And also, they were owed money from VShojo because, you know, Ironmouse was kind of raising the money with help from VShojo. So, yeah, it's money owed all around. VShojo probably owes a lot of people money and just no one's getting paid. So the fact that this is at least a silver lining versus nothing at all is something. And it's absolutely incredible. But it also sucks because those who donated to the Immune Deficiency Foundation for any, like on any of Ironmouse's streams or fundraisers or whatever, they basically just had to pay twice and they may not see that original payment back. Because Legal Mindset already went over, like, you could probably sue VShojo as a donor and approach VShojo with your lawyer like, hey, I donated to this fundraising campaign for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Where did my original donation go? But yeah, it is absolutely insane. So I am so glad the Immune Deficiency Foundation is getting that money. because they really need it. And, you know, it's this fundraiser, and also just VShojo's treatment of Ironmouse in particular, especially in regards to her charity work, that kind of made me think, like, like, okay, I get everyone talking about the VShojo situation from, like, a talent perspective, from an artist perspective, from this perspective, that perspective, and everything else, but, like, I haven't seen anyone talk about it from a disability perspective, so that's what I thought I would talk about for the most part. And yeah, it's absolutely just frickin' bonkers that you have Ironmouse, who's basically the face of your brand, who is the face of your brand to the point where she's probably the first person people think about in relation to your brand, and you screw her over in this way because Ironmouse is a disabled person. She has an immune deficiency condition where her immune system is basically just not really good. How not very good? She can't really go outside or interact with the world without risky infection or sickness that could potentially kill her or otherwise severely debilitate her. So she's basically a bubble kid. So it's not very fun. It's not a very fun existence to have. It's not a fun disability. It's not a quirky disability. Because you know how some disabilities get written off as like, oh, you're so quirky. Like if you have autism, it's like, oh, you're so quirky. You must love trains. And you must love like reading. You must be really good at science. That's so quirky. That's so cute. And it's no, it's not a fun disability. She's the face of VShojo and honestly the face of VTubing on Twitch. Exactly. So it's like Ironmouse has achieved the level of influence, and she's also a disabled person at that. So it's like, as like probably the number one disabled person with influence in the world currently, and you decide to screw her over, yeah, you're going to hell. You're going to hell on multiple levels in every religion. It's absolutely bonkers how a company thinks they can get away with that. You screw over your biggest person who happens to be disabled, and you think you're going to get away with it. You think you're going to and you think you're going to get away with stealing money from charity as well. That is just despicable. So yeah. It's absolutely nuts. So yeah. Hold on a second, let me actually... I knew I was forgetting something. So I did want to link to Ironmouse's fundraiser for the IDF, you know, just in case, obviously, I'm not gonna hold a gun to your head. I'm not gonna hold a gun run to your head. And force one. But it's like, if, like, even just spreading awareness can do great things for a charity. Like, just putting it out there can do so much. Because even if you can't donate yourself, if you spread it to a couple people, maybe they can donate, like, $1. And that can mean a lot. Like, I volunteered with different charity organizations before, and really, at the end of the day, anything helps. Like, I've even talked about how I've occasionally volunteered for, like, food banks and food pantries and things like that. And really, anything helps. You just kind of gotta ask. But yeah, so... like, we'll see how far the fundraiser goes for her. Like, she's already accomplished so much, so, you know, we'll just see how it keeps going, I guess. I don't know how long the campaign continues. I've considered using Tiltify before, just to try raising money for organizations that I care about and that I work with on occasion. But yeah, that's more of a thing that I would have to talk about with the organizations that I work with, because I'm probably like the youngest person there and the most tech-savvy person there, so sometimes that is both a blessing and a curse, because then you have to deal with, like, much older people that are at the helm actually making decisions at a charity, and they might not be the most tech-savvy, so yeah. I don't know how long the campaign is running, but I guess we'll just see, and hey, as long as the foundation gets their money, hooray. They could go, you know, research these diseases, help change lives, get help for people who need it, etc., etc. But overall, yeah. From what I understand, having any sort of immune immunodeficiency, like, disorder or condition, it really varies from person to person. It's like the autism of immune deficiency disorders, where people with autism, because autism is a spectrum, if you meet a person with autism, they could look entirely normal and look like, nothing's quote-unquote wrong with them, like they look like a normal person, they function like a normal person in society, or they could have such severe autism that they basically have the mind of a toddler in an adult body. And that's really tragic because they would never be able to live independently without a lot of assistance in their day-to-day life. So, disability is really just a range. Like, there is no one definition of being disabled. So that's why I was like, everyone's talking about these Ironmouse situation, the VShojo situation from, the corpo and indie VTubers perspective. All the former talents are coming out about their experiences with the company, and it seems like nothing was going right. But in terms of just how they treated Ironmouse in particular, it does make me wonder, because in America, and while Ironmouse is from Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico is an American territory. It also made me wonder about the Americans with Disabilities Act, and I was like, I wonder if the Americans with Disabilities Act is valid in Puerto Rico, because Social Security disability, you can qualify for Social Security disability if you live in Puerto Rico, but not Social Security income. So on the topic of disability, it made me think of that. I was like, hold on a second, I wonder if VShojo could actually be guilty of crimes related to, the Americans with Disabilities Act. Which would be absolutely insane, but obviously I am not Ironmouse. I have no affiliation with Ironmouse or any of the VShojo talents. But it still makes you wonder. It's like, there's clearly stuff that she has said openly about VShojo and why she left and details about what might have happened. But then there's a lot of stuff she can't say, because obviously there are some things you can't say publicly due to NDA, and also because there are some things that are better off being discussed with a lawyer one-on-one. So if there were any sort of cases of abuse or anything that could have violated the Americans with Disabilities Act, which again is valid in Puerto Rico, as Puerto Rico is an American territory, I guess we're just gonna have to see. Because that's up to her and a local attorney to discuss and then bring to VShojo's door. But what is the Americans with Disabilities Act? Well, simply put, I hope y'all can see it. Again, this is a new browser. I'm not entirely sure what to do with it. But yes, the American Disabilities Act. This was signed into law in the 90s. And it was amended in 2008 to just kind of expand what having a disability was. Basically, it's to protect people with disabilities from any sort of discrimination or anything that it prohibits their ability to live the most normal life possible. So, reading from here. The ADA, or the Americans with Disabilities Act, is divided into 5 titles, each addressing different areas of public life. Title I covers employment, ensuring that employers with 15 or more employees provide reasonable accommodations to qualified applicants or employees with disabilities. Title II applies to state and local governments, requiring them to provide equal access to their programs, services, and activities. Title III covers basic public accommodations, such as businesses and nonprofits serving the public, and requires them to remove barriers that provide reasonable modifications or accommodations. Title IV deals with the telecommunications, ensuring that individuals with hearing and speech disabilities can communicate effectively, and Title V contains various other provisions related to the ADA as a whole. And Shadowbuck saying, the second the talents get the okay from their lawyers, hold your butts. Yeah! Because it's gonna be insane. What's already coming out now, especially with all the secret Mean Girl talk and VShojo staff seeing, the other VTuber agencies as rivals, and the other corporations living rent-free in Gunrun's head. It's oh, we gotta be better than them, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And it's insane, really. All I can say is that it's insane. So, yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. So we're just gonna have to see if VShojo might have violated the ADA. But yeah, because Ironmouse is essentially working from home, because again, she is in a situation where she is basically a bubble kid. There wouldn't be any sort of, like, it'd be different if she was, like, going to, like, an office setting. So, like, I don't think they could have violated the ADA in that way. Like, every accommodation she would have needed to receive would have to be over the internet or over the phone or otherwise just virtual and long distance. So, that's already kind of, like, if they have violated the ADA with Ironmouse, it's mostly just going to be on social levels, and I don't know, I'm not a lawyer. I should probably preface with this, that I am not a lawyer, I am just a disabled person. But yeah, in terms of, like, what violates the ADA and what counts as abuse, what counts as discrimination, that's really just gonna vary. It's gonna be a lot of hearsay, and you need to have a lot of evidence. That's why it's also important to know whether you live in a 1 or 2 party state when it comes to recording things. Because especially if you suspect you're being abused, record everything. Get stuff in writing. Screenshot shit. Save everything that the person abusing you is giving you. And that'll end up saving you in the end. Just become a hoarder of information. Become a gossip. Not because you're spreading things around, but because you like collecting info and stories. So, it's gonna be, yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. But honestly, if they have actually, you know, like, broken laws related to the Americans with Disabilities Act, and based on how badly they've treated their talents, the abuse, and, the abuse of finances, all the social games that they've been playing, and try to steal money from charities is the shit cherry on top of the shit sundae. But, like, if they've basically just been bullying Ironmouse and terrorizing their other talents behind the scenes, their treatment when it comes to Ironmouse does not surprise me as a disabled person, which is very unfortunate to say, but again, I didn't ask to be born this way, I just am. Every day I wake up and I have a disability, and that's just a part of who I am. It's not the main thing about me, but it's something that I can't erase, whether I like it or not. So let's get into this. Ah, yes, the thumbnail. So yeah, why does the thumbnail say how I almost auditioned for VShojo and why I'm glad I didn't? Well, it's because I almost did audition for VShojo. What I actually did this week, I was trying to look for files and written stuff that I had made for my audition, but I couldn't find them. So I think I might have deleted them without realizing it, or I might have deleted them and forgot about it because I was just so upset about the whole thing, because I couldn't submit my audition in time. It was actually pretty crazy. It caught me by surprise, not gonna lie. Yeah, I know, I didn't tell anyone about it, is the things. I just kind of kept it to myself because I didn't want anyone to have, like, major hype for me, and also I had just started VTubing last year in March. So I was a nobody. I was a 2 viewer, basically. Like, I'm microscopic. I am a dot. No one knows who I am. So, yeah. I kept it pretty close to the chest. So, yeah, like, they did open up auditions in July last year. But around that time, you wanna know what happened around that time? It was getting hot. It was a heat wave. And my AC at the time broke. So yeah, that kind of took away a lot of time from me actually trying to put together an audition, because when you have asthma, you kind of need an AC or otherwise you will die. So I'm over here panicking like, ah, shit, my AC is broken, it's summer, it's the heat wave, I'm sweating through all of my bed sheets. I can't cool down. What do? I'm gonna die from this. So last year I basically had to crowdfund a new AC for myself from Throne. And thankfully it was done within a day, thank you, Adam. But yeah, it wasn't a fun time. The AC was the real hero all along. I know, you can hear it in the background, and it's like... I realized that, I reflected on the time because, like, what was I doing that prevented me from auditioning? Well, I know that my health is always in and out of flux. I know that for a fact, so I might have gotten sick. What else happened? Oh, wait, last year my AC died. And then I had to spend just so much time trying to figure out the AC situation while I was suffocating. And barely surviving with the fans in the house that I had. So, yeah. That was definitely a part of it. So I was on stream with all the fans going off in the background, and I'm like, yeah, it's better than nothing, but I'm dying, and I need a new AC because I'm dying. Holy shit. Then the AC showed up, and then with the help of family, took my old window AC out of the window, set up the current AC that I have, and I've been doing better ever since. Now that now I have the AC going on in the background. So, you know, that kind of took some time out of me trying to put together an audition for VShojo. The other reasons why I didn't end up submitting that audition was because, one, again, my health is always kind of in constant flux, so I was sick and just busy with my health at the time. There was stuff going on with my family at the time that I was dealing with. And then, most of all, around the time that the auditions opened up, there were clips floating around. And I vividly remember seeing one of Ironmouse who was encouraging people to audition, like, no matter how big your audience was, no matter how new you were to VTubing, and generally just being nice and encouraging. Like, I vividly remember that. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a chance, because if VShojo has Ironmouse and Ironmouse is a disabled person, then that means I, as a disabled person, might also be able to succeed, even though I am basically a microscopic YouTuber who nobody knows about. So I tried to put together an audition. And again, I wish I had the files, because I did actually record an audio recording in Audacity, trying to be like, hi VShojo, my name is AuthorSSD, and I'm trying to audition for your company, or whatever. It was very cringy, very just trying to, I guess, trying to put on a facade of confidence so that way I could be accepted by a corporation. But that didn't work. It didn't really work out, so I think, in addition to not being able to get an audition together by the deadline, I think I might have also deleted it because I was cringing at myself. Oh yeah, remember she had a video of people who were wanting to audition. I don't remember that, but I remember seeing clips of just her encouraging people to audition, like regardless of audience size, because there was a lot of speculation back then, because VShojo's business model was mostly just like who you know and who you blow and who you have connections to, right? Which now we know why, because they were kind of relying on recruiting popular people so they could make money off of the already popular people. So, yeah, because that's been their business model the entire time, I think she was trying to dissuade rumors of like, oh, we're not only going to hire already popular people, just audition if you want to audition, because we're not just looking for talents. Like, if you want to audition as, like, I don't know, a staff member, or just something. Like, just let us get to know you through this audition process. And that kind of thing. So what I was actually planning on doing was not only auditioning as a talent, but also as, like, oh, I have all these other skills, maybe a corporation would find that useful. So I thought I could try to market myself not only as a talent, but also kind of as a manager. So, yeah, that was something. I'm yapping a lot. Thankfully, I prepared my water ahead of time. But yeah, so that was kind of the crux of my audition. Or what would have been my audition. Kind of a combination of, like, I don't mind being both a manager and a talent. Because, you know, those are both things that I like doing. I've thought of making my own VTuber group before. You know, just to have something to do, just to have, like, other people to hang out with and, you know, help them achieve their streaming and creative goals, that kind of thing. I've even thought, just because, you know, I think I just have a very entrepreneurial spirit, but I have no money with which to do entrepreneurial things. I've thought of, like, well, what if I had, like, a little VTuber corporation or whatever? Like, how would that work out for me? But then it's kind of like, that's a lot of work. I'd rather just have a VTuber group, you know, no money involved. You know, just people helping out each other for the sake of just helping each other out and just making something cool. So yeah, there's that. But you're probably wondering, it's like, okay, well, why else did you try to audition for VShojo? Well, it all kind of connects back to the beginning. It's like, I am a disabled person. As a disabled person, I have a lot of things going against me. I'm also a broke disabled person. Where I'm not starving, that's for sure. Like, at least I'd rather be broke, not starving, than starving and broke. But I generally just don't have a lot of money, and I don't have a lot of resources. And last year I had a lot less resources than I do now. So I was like, you know, if I join a corpo, then maybe, you know, that could help me achieve some of the things that I want to achieve. And back then, my VTuber lore was going to be a lot more ambitious than what it is now. I still feel like my VTuber lore is a little bit ambitious, but not nearly as much as before. So let me go into Clip Studio Paint and kind of do a little bit of an explainer about that. Let me get my tablet back on my lap. So this is 2024 me. I'm young. I'm ditzy. And I'm trying to be a VTuber. But then, what I've also got going against me is I'm broke. Very little money. I'm creative, which is, you know, a good thing. But I'm both creative and broke. So I have a lot of ideas, few resources to make them happen. So I'm thinking to myself, you know, I see the VShojo. I always spell their company name wrong because I'm used to the word shoujo being spelled like this. Or this. So I have, like, always spelled their name wrong. I didn't think they just went with, you know, O-J-O. So that's very difficult for me to remember. So if I accidentally write the name wrong, it's because I'm just used to, like, alternative spellings of the Japanese word shoujo. Well, at least not creatively broke. Yeah! So, you know, I see that VShojo is open for auditions. And then I stumbled upon clips of, you know, Ironmouse explaining, you know, the auditions and what they were about. It's like, you know, just let us, you know, get to know you through the audition process. And then I see that, and I'm like, yeah, you know, maybe it's worth a shot. That could help me get somewhere with my VTubing, help me do some of the things that I wanted to do. And, you know, it could help me make things faster than I can entirely on my own. Because that's the thing, I basically just do everything entirely on my own. Because at least being an artist, being a voice actor, being able to sing, being able to do this, being able to do that, at least I kind of got myself covered for a lot of skills. I just have to outsource for very particular reasons. But then, you know, being broke and not having a lot of money, it's like, okay, well, who can work for trade? Like, who wants my voice acting skills in exchange for this? Or who wants my art skills in exchange for that? Like, that sort of thing. So that's part of why I thought I would audition. But, you know, there's, you know, here's me again. Well, I messed up my bangs on that one, but, you know, just for the sake of the example. And last year my health was getting kind of iffy. And what do I mean by iffy? Well, I had to start walking on a cane again for the first time since forever. So I was having to adjust to walking on a cane again, which was not very fun. I had to deal with leg pain all the time. I still have leg pain, it's just significantly less now, thankfully. And Adam's coming in. I heard my name through the ether, and it seems like we just got to the juicy stuff at a restaurant for my mom's birthday. So I'm gonna beat it out. Oh my god, happy birthday to your mom! Oh, that reminds me, my mom's birthday came and went. That went pretty well, and also, I told my mom, you know, Mom, I'm a streamer, and you know the thing that streamers do is that they sometimes invite their moms to things. So do you want me to make you a VTuber model? And she was like, she's still kind of confused as to what I do, but she was like, okay. So I actually have the card next to me, so I drew my mom as a VTuber model. So, yeah. And you're probably asking, why did you draw your mom as a VTuber? Like, what's the story? What's the word with that? Well, she told me a story that I thought was worth recording, so I recorded it. I still have to transfer the recording to my computer because I recorded it on my camera. My phone had no storage space left. I recorded it on my camera. I need to see if the audio is decent. It doesn't even need to be perfect, it just needs to be decent. So that way I could just animate this story that my mother told me. But yeah, so happy birthday to Adam's mom! Does she know about the robots? No. But yeah. Back to the story, back to the why I was auditioned for VShojo. So, you know, 2024 me, I'm having to get used to walking on a cane again because I'm having very severe leg pain that I could not, for the life of me, get a doctor to see me. Because the medical system in America can be absolute garbage. So, I was dealing with a lot of leg pain. I think I had to deal with dentistry shit also. So I was considering switching dentists, and I couldn't switch dentists because my insurance was giving me a difficult time. Excuse me. My insurance was giving me a difficult time switching dentists, and I desperately needed dental surgery because, like, they did surgery on my mouth, and I was suffering some side effects, and I was like, please help me, I feel like I'm dying. And it was not very fun. It's kind of a lot going on. So I spent a lot of last year just looking for doctors, and then everything around me seemed to break, like my AC broke. And, you know, it was my first year being a VTuber, it's like, oh, everything around me is breaking and shattering, there's so much going on, I have family stuff to deal with, so it was kind of a lot going on. And I also had a lot of personal stuff going on that kind of came to a head in November and December. I can't really talk about that openly, but it took a lot out of me, let's just say. There was a chance that if that stuff went badly, I might not be here now. That's how bad it was. So because I was kind of going through the ringer last year, when VShojo was holding auditions, and then you had Ironmouse say like, oh, like anyone can join, just, you know, just apply for the sake of applying if you want, if that helps, if that makes you feel better, just do it. I kind of looked at that and I was like, huh, maybe they can help me, maybe getting accepted into, you know, this organization would help me out. Maybe that'll make a difference in my ability to make content, or at least kind of give me a springboard with which to make content. Maybe that'll be pretty cool. I'm looking at chat on my phone. So Adam's saying, it's tomorrow, but we're eating out because everyone had the day off. It's a Yemen place. Oh, that's nice. I hope you guys have a good time at dinner. And then follows it with, and God forbid MSSD finds out about Sam's shame. To be fair, whenever I meet up with my mom, we kind of talk about the kind of philosophy that only a mother and her daughter can talk about with one another. So I did once just offhandedly mention to my mom, like, yeah, you know, Mom, you're not really missing anything by trying to date anybody at your age, because the dating market now, especially for younger people like me, it's shit. You're not missing anything, Mom. Because my mom's friends have been trying to get her to start dating again. And then I'm just talking to my mom, just a little asexual, possibly aromantic person that I am, and she's like, Mom, you ain't missing shit. And I offhandedly mentioned to her on the subject of, like, yeah, the dating market right now is just horrible, you're not missing anything. It's like, Mom, in a few years, if I can't find a human that'll tolerate me, don't be surprised if I bring a robot boyfriend home. And she seemed pretty cool with that. And she was like, oh, you know, it's like, my mom's just the kind of person like, oh, you know, whatever makes you happy, whatever you want to try, you know, just do it. You know, you only have one life, and, you know, you've had so much going on, so much against you for so long, you know, just do it. Just try whatever you want to try. And that kind of thing. So, I at least have the support from my mom. I think she'd be down with having a robot son-in-law, possibly, who knows. But again, it's a shame that I can't build or code anything. So I can't bring a hypothetical robot boyfriend to life. Although, yeah, speaking of that, yay. I'm sorry, I'm kind of reflecting on, like, because this is 2024 me, and 2025 me is like, I really have kind of changed for the better. That's interesting. So that realization just kind of hit me all of a sudden. But yeah. So I'm kind of looking at this opportunity, it's like, like, maybe I can, even if I'm just, like a 2-viewer. Maybe, you know, maybe I can accomplish something, and then if I get in, cool. If I don't get in, well, I never expected to get in the first place, because I'm a 2-viewer. Who knows me? Like, who at VShojo was gonna care about me? I have no connection to any of the talents or anything. Cause yeah, that was basically their business model. They had all these talents to start out, and on the surface, at least, they were all friends with one another, and they could all collaborate well with one another. So you kind of had to at least know them or have a connection to them first, in order to actually possibly get in to VShojo. You basically had to be with the in crowd already, and if you were on the outside like I was, yeah, you're probably not getting in. And we see that with the people who did get in, because they either have connections to VShojo talents, or they were popular enough on their own to justify getting in with the in crowd. So, the talents who technically got accepted into VShojo but never ended up debuting have already been revealed, and I think there are still more to come, actually. I do actually have the VShojo wiki up. Or the virtual YouTuber wiki with VShojo's page up. Let me actually... Oh, excuse me. Drank a lot of water, swallowed a lot of air. So yeah, needless to say, I've been refreshing this page every so often, because all the original talents are gone, the solo debutants are gone, the Niji rescues are gone, the JP branch is gone, and so far these were the talents confirmed to have gotten in and passed the auditions for VShojo, but I think there are still a few more. So yeah, every one of them was either popular in their own right and had a decent streaming career as an indie already, or they had a connection to an existing VShojo talent. So, yeah. They're not beating the nepotism allegations. Yeah. So, yeah, that also just kind of... Yeah, you needed to be in with the in crowd, basically. Otherwise you were not getting in. So the odds were kind of against me already, in addition to everything else going horribly wrong in my real life. So, yeah, that resulted in me never submitting my audition. Let's see. Oh, yeah. But even then, like, I didn't give up on streaming altogether because, you know, I like streaming. And I kind of treat it as a form of entertainment for myself, but also therapy. I use it to try to, like... better my social skills, even though I stutter and I stammer and I lose the plot of what I'm talking about sometimes. But I've actually improved a lot, socially speaking, because I became a streamer, which is really great. And I never would have thought that, you know, it would turn out that way, but here I am. And, yeah. And once again, this 2024 me, you know, I'm creative, I'm shy, but I'm trying new things. And I'm trying new things despite things going wrong. And at the time my lore was that I was gonna be a princess. And what I wanted to do is I didn't just want to be a princess, like I would have had ARG style elements to my lore. So that was another thing that I was like, maybe a corporation or joining an agency would help out with that. That ended up not happening because, honestly, it was a little bit overly ambitious, but also I kind of lost the plot with my own lore, and just like, I decided, I don't think I'm a princess VTuber. I just don't think that really speaks to my personality. So I kind of just said, I don't think I'm a princess. And this is 2025 me. Normally I do better bodies than that, but, you know, just for the sake of example, this isn't meant to be fancy, just, you know, a visual. And, you know, 2025 me, I'm still creative. I'm still shy. But I got better. A little bit. Still trying new things. And I turned out to be really good at some things. And then I've also just gotten better social skills. I stand up for myself better. I'm a better self-advocate. I wrote a lot. I'm gonna have to shrink it. Oh, that looks horrible. Crap. I'm a better self-advocate. I'm a hermit. But trying to branch out. Connected to this. I hang out in the Rats channel in Remus server, so I'm a rep. I'm a rep. Which is basically just, you know, VTuber gossip is fun. I can't help it, I'm a rep. Still shy? Yeah, me too. Hey! Yeah. Shyness for the win. Yeah. Shy people need attention and love too. And I'm saying pun master or pun enthusiast. I will bust out the German flat humor again. I will tell the Carlos joke again. But yeah, so yeah. I've accomplished a lot when I really write it down and really reflect on it. And then my lore also changed. Because of some of those new things that I tried. Like, it turns out I'm really good at HRI, which is human-robot interaction. I like discussing robotics from, you know, a social standpoint. I'm not an engineer, but I have a lot of ideas on how robots and stuff can work, and that's really cool and interesting and fun. But God forbid you try to find community in the robotics community, and unless you're like a PhD or like a master at like actual robotics that exists, you're gonna get laughed all the way to hell. But yeah, I adjusted my lore. And instead of a princess, I was like, I don't know if I'm really a princess. I don't think I have the personality to be a princess. But instead I'm a hermit. And, I don't know if there are any Toho fans in the room, but I was playing Misty Izakaya and I got to talk to Sega. And she's a hermit, and like, to be a Taoist hermit, if you become a Taoist hermit, basically you can kind of, the idea is that you achieve immortality by saying a certain amount of prayers and memorizing certain lines and basically just sticking to a routine every day, and you could be a hermit that obtains immortality. So I kind of used Sega as inspiration, and I was like, huh, that actually kind of fits me, you know, minus the Taoism. So I guess I'm a hermit. I guess that's the best way to describe me. So I guess I will be a hermit VTuber. And then because I got really interested in it and I found out I'm actually pretty decent at HRI and that kind of level of robotics, I was like, huh, I guess I'm a hermit, but also I kind of want a robot sidekick, so, that's where the little guy in my sci-fi streams came from. Because of my interactions with machines in school and all that, it was like, huh, that's interesting. So I'm a little bit of a hermit, but I also have like a little robotic side to me. And even my Oshi mark changed, which, for those not in the know, what an Oshi mark is basically either a single emoji or a series of emojis that you could put next to your social media name or handle to try to just indicate that you are a fan of somebody. So originally my Oshi mark was a moon, a flower, and another moon. It was that. But now I thought of changing it to flower, little robot emoji, flower. And so yeah, a lot of me has changed. My concept has changed, and if not for and not allowing myself the room to breathe and not dwelling on the VShojo audition so much, I wouldn't have realized. I was like, I don't know if this current lore fits me very well. I'm gonna do something else. So that was kind of a good thing about not auditioning for not just VShojo but any corporation, because now I'm a lot more set in my lore. I know who I am more. I know what I like, what I want to do for myself as a VTuber, and it's like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I got to know myself more within the year, and that's really awesome. But then another thing is that another reason why I was hoping to join VShojo is because, you know, at the end of the day, I was still a disabled person. A disabled person without a lot of money and without a lot of resources to do the crazy ambitious things she only dreams of doing. And that's why... Let me move this over here. And that's why when you see someone like Ironmouse doing really well and basically just thriving in her streaming career with VShojo's help, because, you know, presumably if you're part of an agency, they're supposed to help, right? So, you know, seeing Ironmouse thrive, it's like, maybe I can do that too. You know, maybe if I were to join VShojo, that would work for me. So it's not like no one... Let me see, how do I phrase this? I'm losing myself a little bit. I guess the best thing I can say is, like, I wasn't trying to be like the next Ironmouse. I use Ironmouse more as a point of comparison because, again, she is very open about her condition. And thankfully, no one judges her for it. Like, no one ever questions, like, oh, but are you really sick? Are you really disabled? So she has a lot of advantages that a lot of other disabled people don't really have. Like, I'm sorry, I'm losing my words. But basically, she's very open about her condition, and no one really questions her condition. She's a bubble kid, but she hasn't let that stop her from trying to stream via VTuber, socialize and things. No one questions her disability, either. Oh, Shadowfox is trying to do the ocean. Did I do it right? I'm trying to mess around with the emojis, because there are certain emojis that they look different based on whatever program or operating system they run on, but hey! Well, yeah, I guess it works. And then also rats. Rats! We're the rats! Yeah. We're the rats. We gossip about VTuber stuff. We're the rats. But yeah, so no one questions Ironmouse's disability. People feel bad for her, but they don't coddle her. And thankfully, Ironmouse seems to just have a very supportive and amazing family who have just taken care of her for all these years. And just will keep doing that until the day they die, whether she became like a famous VTuber or not. Which is a really amazing thing to have happen. Because, you know, you don't always have that luck with family. Oh, excuse me. Okay, I found the window that I was working with before. Yay! So, you know, if Ironmouse is being successful and she's working with VShojo and VShojo's working with her, then of course that makes the auditions appealing. It's like, I wonder if I could achieve that. I wonder what they're offering her that I could also get as a disabled person, so I could basically get in Ironmouse's position where I'm disabled, but I'm successful at streaming and whatever I want to do, creatively speaking. Like, I would like to get there. I would like to get to that point. I'm not trying to become her, or, like, I'm not trying to literally become her. That'd be weird. That would require alchemy I have no control over. And I'm not trying to, like, surpass her or, like, be a rival or anything, or it's like, you know, I would just like to not have to worry about my life anymore, and I would like to have resources that sometimes only a large company can provide. And if that involves having to join a company, then I would like to have a shot. But, you know, that ended up not happening. But again, yeah, it was kind of crazy, because it's like, I think worrying about my AC situation last year kind of did save me from ending up VShojo fodder, whether I had gotten in or passed the auditions or not. Because, I mean, look where they are now. Even if I had gotten in, I would have either never debuted, or we could have debuted, but then I would have only been with VShojo for so long. So that's crazy to think about. But then, yeah, so there's a lot that any agency can really do, or something that, or things that any agency is really supposed to do. So, like, joining an agency, you know, you're gonna have money, or you're gonna have a budget assigned to you. So you're gonna have more financial resources than you would as an indie, especially if you got into VTubing, whether you are a VTuber, especially if you're a VTuber yourself and you had little to no money to start out with. Like, I pretty much made all of my assets, and I'm not the best graphic designer, and my art style doesn't always translate well to digital, but I still did it. I still did it all on my own. And, like, only now am I trying to get more feedback and help on, like, oh, I can't really draw furniture. Can someone draw a shelf for me? Or, oh, I can't voice men. Can someone voice a man for me? That kind of thing. You'll also have connections. And you hear this a lot when talents are talking about, like, oh, you know, I would like to find a home. I would like gen mates. I would like this. I would like that. And being a part of an agency, you do have gen mates, or you do have, like, people within the network to communicate with and collab with. So for someone like me who's kind of socially isolated, that's another thing that made it appealing. Like, you know, it would be nice to socialize more. It would be nice to have connections with talented people who could help me achieve my goals. It'd be nice to talk to people that are also VTubers and have done it for longer, that could give me advice on how to be better and that kind of thing. So, there are also connections, not just connections with other talents, but also music people, artists. I imagine if you do occasional, like, flesh tuber content, maybe you get a camera crew. You get security to help back you up in certain situations that you might not be able to navigate on your own. You might get legal help and other types of advocacy that you might not be able to get on your own, which can be very hard, especially as a disabled person. Because sometimes, depending on the nature of your disability, you may or may not be able to advocate for yourself. Like, I, for example, you can hear me, I'm talking, I understand the meaning of consent. You know, I can do this, I can do that. And I can advocate for myself to an extent, but I'm still sometimes very cripplingly shy. And sometimes there are situations where, if I'm overwhelmed enough, I can't advocate for myself. So, having all these kinds of connections would be an amazing help to a VTuber, especially one who has social skills issues and that kind of thing. And connected to money, you could also get brand deals and sponsorships, which can help you save more of your own money, but if you already like a product already, maybe they can cut you a deal. And, you know, the more fame you have, the more causes you care about benefit, which is what we're already seeing with Ironmouse and the IDF, the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Because she's so open about her condition, she's teamed up with them multiple times to raise money for charity. And I don't know how the organization is helping her directly, but I imagine just researching the condition, seeing what treatments are effective, educating doctors on how to spot an immune deficiency disorder, because sometimes not all doctors get that education when it comes to, like, spotting the correct condition and figuring out what's going on with a patient. So, yeah, charities help a lot. Like, a lot of money will go to staff, will go to keeping lights on in buildings, will go to grant writers trying to get extra money and extra funding from the local governing bodies, the federal government, etc. It still helps a lot, because just so much goes into charity work. Like, even when I do volunteer work at food banks and stuff, it's not just about ordering the food or trying to figure out how to acquire food to give out to those who need it for as little to no money as possible. It's also, okay, we gotta pay money for, you know, the building we're renting out. We have to have storage space for all the food that we're getting this day. And then depending on the food pantry, it could be a situation where they have freezers and cupboards where food can be stored. But then there are also some that it's like, okay, well, whatever's coming on the truck today needs to go today because we have no space. We can't store this stuff long term. So really, every charity is different, but there's a lot that goes into a charity besides just helping their target population. Whether it's people who need a food, or people with a debilitating condition that need a cure or need help. So there's a lot that goes into charity work. It's part of why I study business, because it's like, whether you're into business for the for-profit sector or the non-profit sector, it's basically all the same. It's just a matter of the numbers and your demographic, essentially, and all that. So it's very interesting to think about. So for me, because I have a lot of charitable causes that I care about a lot, it's like, it'd be kind of cool if I had the backing of like a corpo, like a VTuber corpo, so that way I could raise money for charities that I really care about, and that I could do some good in the world. I got confused for a second, so IDF's also these for the defense force. Yeah! A lot of people have made that joke. I need water. Oh, excuse me. But no, it's the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Which, out of sheer curiosity, I can also bring back the window that I have for Ironmouse's fundraiser for them. But no, yeah, it's the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Oh, that got me. But yeah. Oh, excuse me. Goodness. So yeah, like, if you're a person that just has a lot of goals, but you can't really do the grind set entirely on your own, sometimes joining a company can help you. And, these are the things that they are supposed to provide. But what's happened with VShojo, and part of why they are basically imploding all over the place right now, is because they were supposed to provide all those things. They were supposed to provide their talents and staff with money. They were supposed to provide this, provide that, provide the connections, and just make these talents' lives easier. What they've done instead is that they've taken advantage of their talents, and under this, taken advantage of Ironmouse in particular. And, because everyone's under NDA, that no one really knows if the NDAs are going to be active, now that VShojo has announced that they are shutting down. Once the NDAs are, confirmed to no longer be valid, people are gonna talk. And right now, they're doing all the talking with their lawyers, hopefully. And again, I hope that I wish these lawyers luck. Because oof. Just oofs all around. Because when it comes to, like, Ironmouse's situation in particular, they stole money from charity. And even if they give it back, even if they somehow found the money to give back to the charity that the charity was owned, it's already too late. There's just so much bad PR. Because they stole money from charity and in turn also stole money and just wages from Ironmouse. And she's also alleging that, you know, we always have to say allegedly in YouTube land. You know, even if it's confirmed that somebody did something, we all have to say allegedly. They allegedly threatened her. And kept convincing her to stay with the company. Because, you know, she was kind of the face of their brand at some point. And Shadowfuck is saying, allegedly, in quotes. Yeah. And Shadow759, hello, welcome! And Shadow75 saying, oh boy, yeah, it's a doozy, it's a spicy stream tonight. Maybe you'll finally find something spicy that is actually spicy for you. So yeah, they threatened and, you know, allegedly threatened to... I can't talk, I'm sorry. But they kept trying to convince her to stay with the company, not because she was the face of the brand. You know, we're not a company, we're a family. You know, we've done so much for you, and you've done so much for us. You know, you've got to stay. You've got to do this. You got to do that. And also, supposedly, what Silvervale and Vebe and Nyanners have revealed is that they had a graduation queue, so they had to all graduate around the same time. Or Silver and Vebe had to graduate around the same time, and Nyanners wanted to leave, but she wasn't allowed to leave when she wanted. So that also could have played a role in it. So not allowed to leave. So, like, at some point, was she not allowed to leave the job up until now, where she basically just said, nope, I'm out of here? And just walked out, basically? Yeah, again, like, there are definitely questions as to, like, whether or not they violated something in the Americans with Disabilities Act, which, again, Puerto Rico is an American territory, so did they violate some aspects of the ADA with Ironmouse, despite it, again, her being essentially a work-from-home employee/talent of VShojo? And that's the other thing, because, again, I am not a lawyer. I've never had to deal with any sort of situation where I was discriminated against that could have invoked, you know, ADA laws. So, yeah, like, because if they violated the ADA, that could get them in even more trouble, on top of stealing money from charity, and on top of not paying their talents and misappropriating funds for really stupid shit. That just makes it even worse. Because when someone who is disabled is the face of your brand, people are going to automatically assume that you take especially good care of them. But if she, as a disabled person, was discriminated against while at VShojo, or otherwise just not being taken care of and accommodated, and not being paid, that's gonna fucking suck and get them in so much trouble. And she deserves so much better than that. Because disabled people do not have it easy if we choose to work, or if we choose to work normal jobs. Because at least joining VShojo and being a streamer, that's like a kind of self-employed contractor talent situation. Like, that's one thing. That's basically just, you know, oh, I'm a VTuber, I'm self-employed, I'm freelance, but I also have the backing of a corporation to help me out with stuff. But generally speaking, to be a disabled person who is also working, first off, we're not always considered employable. Strictly due to the fact that we have a disability. And sometimes it doesn't really matter what level of disabled you are. You could be considered unemployable because of something like, oh, you have autism, even though you're clearly walking and talking and are willing to work. No, we don't want to handle that. Because you have autism, and autism is a disability, and we don't want to deal with that. That's not for our organization. We don't have the resources, we don't want to do this, just get out of here, you're not employable. Or sometimes it's like, if you're physically disabled, you might get turned away, not because the company doesn't want you, but because they physically don't have the space to hire you. Like, I think about this. I've been to stores with very narrow aisles, and I think to myself, oh god, I hope I never end up in a wheelchair, because then I could never shop here again, because the aisles are so thin, I would take up the whole aisle in a wheelchair, or not be able to fit in a wheelchair at all. So sometimes, the business itself is just not equipped to handle a physical disability. Even something like when I walk with my cane. And I don't need my cane all the time, but when I do, I really need it. And sometimes I will also just need a chair to sit down in. And sometimes that could be too much for an employer to accommodate. Where it's like, oh, I occasionally walk with a cane, so, I'm not very fast, but also I might need a chair, like, all the time. So just keep that in mind. And an employer might see that as too much of a burden. It's like, how much is a fold-out chair that you could reserve for me if I'm an employee at your company? Literally, how much is it? It can be a lot. It doesn't matter, like, what level of disabled you are. Sometimes even if they look at your medical records or want your medical records, or if you just mention that, you have a disability casually on your resume, they might see that and be like, no, we don't want it. We don't want to deal with it. Because they also want to get in trouble if they hire you and then they're mean to you. They also don't want to mess with the ADA. So yeah, it's kind of a lot. Being disabled and working is just very difficult, because we're not always considered employable. No one wants to offer accommodations. And sometimes even just very simple, like, basic bitch accommodations, like offering a chair to someone who walks with a cane and might need a chair to sit in every so often because they get tired and worn out pretty easily. Or, just not letting the person who is chronically shy because they have autism, like, work a very social aspect of the job. Like, no, apparently that's too much. And Shadow Fox is saying, yeah, I think mentioning that I have autism and it's seen as a mental disability that's caused a lot of employers to turn me away from interviews. Which sucks, because obviously, you're talking. You have amazing social skills in my chat, at least. And then we hang out in the rat section of Rima server. So I wouldn't have known that you had the tism like I do. But also, I don't see someone having autism as a reason to deny them a job or deny them an interview. You gotta get to know the person first, but a lot of people don't see a person who is disabled as a person. They just kind of see us as a disability or a series of disabilities first. Which is absolutely bonkers. Like, if I was in a wheelchair, my personality suddenly doesn't become wheelchair girl or wheelchair person. Like, I have a personality besides being in a wheelchair. Or with my cane. I have a personality outside of just walking with a cane. I have a personality besides just being autistic. Like, I am so much more than my conditions. I am more than my illnesses. I am more than the things that plague me from day to day. But a lot of employers don't see that and don't want to deal with it. It's horrible, really. And that's why a lot of disabled people end up being entrepreneurial, because, oh, okay, if no one else will employ me, I'll make work for myself. I'll be a freelance artist. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll be a streamer. I'll be an inventor. I'll do this. I'll do that, and that kind of thing. Well, I got nervous during any interviews I had. I did practice, but I always got anxious in front of people, especially back in school when I had to present stuff. I mean, yeah, that's relatable. But even then, like, even if you are, like, chronically shy or chronically socially anxious, you might still find that you have ways of getting comfortable around certain types of people. Like, for me, for example, I've been in and out of hospitals and doctors' offices all my life, so I find that I'm actually really cool around doctors, and I'm really, really calm in hospitals, even if there's something actively wrong with me. So, one strategy that I try to do is if I'm nervous, I try to pretend I'm at the doctor's office or I'm at the hospital. Because if I'm calm in a hospital, or if I'm calm talking to a doctor, or like some other professional, then hopefully I can just try to like calm myself in a situation if I pretend I'm at the doctor's or I'm at the hospital. Like I got summoned for jury duty this year actually, back in June. It was my first time doing jury duty, and I was so nervous. But I found that it was actually really cool talking to the lawyers, because, you know, when you get summoned in, they explain the case, they try to filter out people who have bias, and the whole time I was nervous, because I kept trying to raise my hand, and I didn't get picked to ask a question. So I kind of, once I found an opportunity to just kind of, like, pull the lawyer aside and be like, I think I might have bias, they pulled me into another room, and then the lawyers were talking to me one-on-one. And in front of the lawyers, I was actually, like, really calm, because it's like, okay, well, this is a professional person, they're not going to judge me, and if they do, they legally have to keep it to themselves. And then I explained my situation and why I had bias in the case that they wanted me to do. And then they were like, oh, okay, yeah, you have too much bias in this case, so, you know, you're free to go back into the waiting room, and if they call you again, cool, and if not, then, you know, they'll probably dismiss you all for the day. I ended up getting dismissed, because I didn't get called in again. But that's one strategy that I do, like, find the kind of social group or kind of person archetype that you're calmer around, and then just try to apply that, like, okay, like, a lawyer is no different than a doctor, so if I'm cool with the doctor, I should theoretically be cool with the lawyer. Like, that kind of thing. That's what I did anyway. But other than that, yeah, I also struggle from, like, social anxiety, and it can be pretty rough. But I think streaming has also helped me get a little bit better at socializing, even though I do get tongue-tied and I slip and fall all over my words kind of all the time. But that's partially because I'm excited and I have a lot to talk about, and this is the only way I can get people to listen to me. But also it's like, oh my god, I can be myself. I can do this, I can do that within YouTube's TOS. And yeah. I've yet to be called in. I'm always one of the first groups that get dismissed, but aside from traveling long distance to the courthouse, I wouldn't mind doing it. Yeah, that's the thing, like, I kind of went into it. I was more nervous that I wouldn't wake up on time, but wouldn't get to the courthouse on time. But I kept thinking to myself, okay, well, socially speaking, you know, there's a lot of routines and places to go and things like that, so everything's gonna be sorted out when I get there. It's just a matter of, will I get there on time? Will security be nice? Will the lawyers be nice? And, you know, a lawyer is no different than a doctor. A lawyer is a professional. They can't judge you. They can't say this, they can't say that. They're just trying to get their job done and filter out, you know, who has bias and who doesn't. So I think I should be fine. And that's how I survived jury duty. And, yeah. So that's just one trick I have for trying to, like, trick myself into socializing a little bit better. And then on stream I find that I'm actually pretty relaxed, but again, I do kind of trip over my own words, just because it's like, oh my god, it's so exciting, I'm talking to people on the internet, and people on the internet are pretty cool, actually. And that's how I've started, like, to meet new people and things, and that's really freaking awesome. And, yeah. But yeah, other than that, like, if I were to try working at, like, a normie job, they might not consider all that. They might not consider my accomplishments. They might not consider that I'm trying to work at getting better. They might just see, you know, the conditions that I have and think, oh, well, you know, she's not worth it. She's not worth hiring. She's not worth hiring for this position. And it's not just about getting a job. It's also about benefits, because benefits may be non-existent. Or not enough. Especially if you've lived a life on disability services. Which is another thing, because I don't know how Ironmouse was prior to becoming a streamer. She said she got into streaming because she was lonely and wanted people to hang out with and stuff. Which is all well and good. That's part of why I decided to become a streamer as well. Because, 1, chronically lonely, 2, I need to improve my social skills, and 3, I'm bored! And I have lots of stuff to talk about. And I also got encouraged to become a streamer because Merlogic was like, you know, you can do voices and stuff. You'd probably be really good at it. After a lifetime of being told, oh, you're boring. You wouldn't succeed as a content creator because you're boring. You're not funny. You're this, you're that. It's just like, huh, someone actually believes in me. And yeah. And, like, I've been streaming for a year, so it's like, people keep watching somehow, and it's like, maybe I am worth, maybe I can't be good at streaming, maybe I can do this and can't do that. But then, streaming takes a long time to monetize. And takes a long time to get a lot of attention and... Excuse me. Takes a lot of time to get attention and get to a point where you can be monetized. There are ways to get monetized without YouTube or Twitch or, like, insert streaming platform here giving you money from ad revenue or anything. Like if you have a Throne, for example. That's how I've gotten a lot of help for the past couple years. It's like, oh, someone recommended Throne to me. I made the account, I let it sit for a while, and I've gotten help that way, which has honestly been a lifesaver, because especially when my AC broke last year, it's like, welp, I don't have the money to get a new AC on my own. And, like, so that is one way of getting monetized without being monetized, like, the normal way. And that kind of thing. But, that's just streaming, for example. And if I were to get to the point where it's like, I am really good at streaming, I'm monetized now, that can still take a lot to get actual money out of. There are a lot of streamers who still have 9-to-5s, or like other freelance jobs or other gigs, basically, that they do while streaming in order to pay the bills. And as a disabled person, if you work a normie job, and God forbid, like, you manage to get in, but the benefits aren't going to be worth it. They're not going to be comparable enough to accommodate your disability once you're actually working on the job full-time or part-time or whatever the hours are. Which is also a damn shame, because there are a lot of disabled people who do want to work, who want to start a business, who want to work the jobs that nobody else wants to work, but the benefits just aren't enough, especially if they have a history of being reliant on Social Security disability because they either can't find work or just can't work. And that really sucks. So, again, this all connects to, like, why Ironmouse is so important when it comes to the disability community, and also just her being so successful at vtubing as a whole. So it's like, if Ironmouse can do it, and if Ironmouse has improved as much as she has over the years, as both an indie and with help from a VTuber corpo, then that says a lot. And that also just makes the whole situation with VShojo imploding upon itself and not paying its talents and stealing money from charities sting even more. Because it's like, disabled people already have so much working against them every single day, whether it's their own body, their own mind, not being considered employable. And with Social Security, if you have Social Security disability, I think a lot of people, especially in politics, are under the impression that, oh, people on disability are getting millions and millions of dollars. That's not true. Because you want to know how much people on disability actually get? Do you want to guess? People on disability only get maybe a couple $100s a month. And are expected to survive off of that money for the whole month. So it's not a lot to live on. And rents are extremely expensive, and where are you going to find a place that only charges you a couple $100s a month? If that, or less than that. So if you've spent your whole life, like, living on disability, that's not enough to, like, actually live off of disability alone. It's really rough out here as a disabled person. And there are only so many ways you can really get by. So again, if Ironmouse can make it, that's kind of it's like a beacon of hope for disabled people, especially those who want to work in the entertainment industry, who do want to be streamers, who might not really have a choice of employment besides being in something related to social media or entertainment. It's really crazy. And it's just really unfair. And that's what makes the whole situation sting more, because you've already taken so much from a person who didn't really have a lot to begin with, who was constantly struggling and only really started getting better once they were given a lot of opportunity. If you pour resources and help and, love into a disabled person, and you and you want them to get better, and you invest in their success, then, you know, you could see them grow and achieve success. But a lot of people don't believe in that, unfortunately. And it seems like VShojo was, like, one of the worst people of all to deal with when it comes to that. Because they just wanted Ironmouse for, you know, the face of their brand. They wanted her to be the face of VShojo without actually treating her well in the end. Which really, really fucking sucks. But yeah, so in terms of VShojo shutting down, it's not really a surprise to me, especially as more talents are coming out about, like, the treatment they've received. And it's really only a matter of time before the NDA dissolves and people start talking, like, a lot about what's actually going on, what, like, detailed instances of abuse or harm committed to them by this organization. Yeah. It's a lot. There's only so much we can do on the outside because, again, we're not lawyers. Talents have to discuss this with their lawyers themselves. If there was anything going against the ADA, that's also going to be a whole nother layer in addition to the missing money, the misappropriated funds, bullying your own talents and pitting them against each other for the sake of what? Why all the Mean Girl games on a corporate level? It's ridiculous. So we'll just kind of have to see where VShojo goes from here. And oh my goodness, let's see. Oh boy, so people have been adding context to. This is kind of a. Oh, I don't have Twitter, so I can't sign in to read more. So additional context that I didn't see before, because again, I don't use Twitter. I don't know if Mythic Talent is similar to VShojo, but I really hope they're one of the good ones. That's the other thing too, because I think Mythic Talent functions not as a VTuber agency, but more of a talent agency. Hold on, let me see for a hot second. Let's see, do they have a website? Because I know they have a page on the VTuber wiki. But I don't really know anything about their business structure. So I don't know. I think they're more of a traditional talent agency where they just help out with stuff. But yeah, so on the wiki, for, the virtual VTuber wiki, Make the Talent is a full-service talent management agency that specializes in assisting content creators across all facets of the industry. Founded in January 2023, and these are all their 2023 talents, 2024, 2025, there was someone who debuted in 2025. But yeah, it seems like they do have a lot of VTubers, but I don't know if they're VTuber exclusive. Because this is their website. They have some flesh tubers here too. So I don't know if they're gonna suffer the same way VShojo has, like, unless there's some drama with Mythic somewhere. Like, looking through some of the talents that they have, like, okay, they have some problematic figures, that's for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't really heard anything bad about Mythic. So I don't know if they'd end up suffering the same way that VShojo has. And yeah, like, if you haven't heard anything bad about them, then they're probably okay. But yeah, they have, like, some non-traditional VTuber talents, and there's a Rima. And yeah, so I think because they also deal with flesh tubers as well, they might be a little bit better off, because at least they haven't invested too much in just VTubing as a niche, like as their only thing. Because VShojo did collaborate with flesh tubers as well, But they were a VTuber company first and foremost. They were invested in the world of VTubing. Granted, they might have also been messing around with robotics shit. Because from the rat section of Rima's server, someone mentioned on Twitter about, am I allowed to show up the robot arm that I built for VShojo now, or is that illegal, Lamau? So, there's kind of some rats saying that, oh, maybe they were looking into, like, AI VTubers. But that's just a rat. We don't actually know. There are some, like, supposedly Niji Sanji has been looking into AI VTubers after Selengate. But I don't really keep up with companies very much unless it's something like this that and just implodes everywhere. So, I don't know. Like, being a traditional talent agency, I think Mythic is gonna be okay. But again, I haven't heard anything about them. I know Rima joined them. And that's all I know. But because they do more than just VTubing, I think they're gonna be fine. If you haven't really heard any particular stink about them, then they're fine. And then, because Mythic also has... Let's see, where is she? Because Mythic also has Mari Mari, or, you know, Mari Mari underscore VEN. Like, I know that she's with FaZe now. She's with FaZe Connect now. So, and then if there were VShojo talents that were also with Mythic while they were also at VShojo, then I guess you can have both. I guess it was just kind of like a service provider situation where it's like, oh, well, occasionally I use Mythic for these services, but I'm mainly with or contracted under VShojo for like what I mainly do. Maybe that's the thing. So who knows? Because that's actually also another thing. So let me get Clip Studio back up. That is actually another thing when it comes to new layer. Lost myself for a second. But yeah, when it comes to disability care, there are like multiple layers of caring for someone who has disability. There's government assistance. And that can work for if the disability is temporary. Like, say if you break your legs and you're unable to work because you need to drive a car to get to work every day, so you literally can't go to work and they don't have a work from home option. Excuse me. You know, that'll help if the disability is permanent. Will help if the disability is in constant flux, like some days you're fine, some days you want to die because you're in so much pain, that kind of thing. There's local government. Government assistance being like, you know, federal, that would also help with SSI or SSDI. Local government, which would mean like state or city-based services. Local charities and organizations. And then there's just who you know. And who you know could be family, friends, and, you know, just whoever can take care of you, whoever knows your condition, essentially. It could also be spouses, if you're married, or if you're dating, you know, your partners could also help with your disability, depending on the nature of your disability. But then when it comes to, like, state and federal help, especially with the state, because I'm more familiar with, like, the state level, there are going to be different companies and organizations that offer different services. Like, Company 1 might provide housing. Company 2 might provide healthcare. Healthcare or, community services. 3 might also provide housing, with a giant but because they have different conditions to qualify for their kind of housing. 4 might provide housing, home care, community, and maybe they have job training. So each organization, given money from, the federal and state or local government, they're going to provide different kinds of services for a person who is disabled. So a person who is disabled can, look at all of these services, and if they're lucky enough, they might be able to pick and choose where they get services from. But sometimes, if you get services from one organization, so say they get help from Organization 3, that disqualifies them from getting help from Organization 1 and Organization 4. And because Organization 3 comes with certain requirements to get their housing assistance, that disabled person is going to get stuck with these terms and conditions that they might not be able to deal with because they just needed housing. But housing is coming with all of these conditions attached, and they might not need all of the services that come with Organization 3's housing. But then they might also face a situation where, now that you're associated with Organization 3, not only can you not accept help from these other organizations, but to switch to these other organizations is going to take forever, and you could risk homelessness in the meantime while you transfer from one organization to the other. So that's fun. But, let's say, okay, you have housing from Organization 3, so that disqualifies you from working with Organizations 1 and 4. But you can also get healthcare and community help from Organization 2. So as a disabled person, if you're getting help from the state, especially, you're going to have a lot of options in terms of who you can work with to get the help that you need. But you might have to bundle certain services together and might be banned from certain services if you're affiliated with one already. And Adam's saying there's a reason why homelessness is still and becoming a big problem in the US. Exactly. That's the other tragic thing about it. So, really that's not any different from... Why do I keep thinking that the new layer button is somewhere over here? So, that's kind of insight as to disability care and the kinds of programs there are available. So it's really not all that different from how VShojo operates, because a talent can theoretically be at VShojo and be signed with VShojo. But maybe they could also be getting some help from Mythic on the side, depending on their needs. So you see what I'm going for here? But, in the disability example before, VShojo basically just wanted everyone and everything for themselves. So, while teaming up with another company or another agency was theoretically possible, they kind of just wanted to hoard the talent for themselves and just give other agencies the finger and be like, no, this is ours, this is ours. And Shy Lily has also come out saying that she got approached to join VShojo, but the contract that they gave her, VShojo was basically gold digging, is the best way that I could phrase it. They were gold digging for everything Shy Lily had access to. And she was like, but that they wanted, my profits from Mythic and profits from Gamersubs, and it's like, well, that's not yours. Why would you want that? That's not yours. I did that on my own. But VShojo was like, no, well, if you want to be signed with us, we want to have a taste. We want to have a piece of that. And it's like, yeah, if the person did it on their own without your assistance, then fuck you for wanting that. You have no stake in that. So it seems like VShojo was just trying to just hoard all the talent for themselves and just trying to gold dig out of their talents, especially the ones that they were trying to recruit that had assets in other areas. Which is absolutely bonkers. So, you know, seeing the similarity between like different disability services that are available and also what VShojo seems to have been doing all along, it's like, that's actually disturbingly similar to what I've seen out in the field. It's actually pretty fucking bonkers. It's pretty fucking nuts. So that's another reason why I wanted to talk about the VShojo situation from a disability perspective, because they actually do have a lot of overlap despite, you know, Ironmouse being the only one who's, like, open about her condition. Like, I'm very much the kind of person where my diagnosis is none of your business, like, unless you're my doctor or, like, immediate family. Granted, I've been open about some things, but then there are some aspects of my health that I just cannot talk about, again, unless you are my doctor or my immediate family. Just for, you know, safety reasons, and, you know, there are certain aspects of my health that are just too sensitive to talk about publicly. But I've mentioned some things here and there, like I do walk with a cane. I no longer feel shame in walking with a cane. And I've always just seen kind of my autism as, oh, I'm just biologically shy. And that kind of thing. So, kind of seeing it from, like, knowing a lot about the disability system and, like, the different kinds of care programs that are out there, and seeing the situation with VShojo, just like, oh, this seems too familiar, like, oof. I know it would never happen, but if Ironmouse joined Hololive, it's over for the competition. Honestly, I think she's just better off as an indie. She's already successful enough as an indie. She already has a name built for herself, so when it comes to joining an organization, and again, this kind of connects to, like, as a disabled person, if you were to try to find a job at, like, a normal company. So say this is you, and you are a disabled person, and, you know, your disability may vary, but again, if a lot of employers just see disability as just, like, a bad thing overall, or a thing they don't generally want to deal with overall, then it doesn't really matter what your disability is. Most companies are going to see them as all the same, and they're going to see you as mostly unemployable as a result. But say you're a disabled person and you just want to work, like, you want to have a normal job for whatever reason. In order, especially if you are on Social Security disability, or similar programs where you basically get punished and risk losing your benefits from working, or trying to work a normal job. If you want to seek work elsewhere, you would have to make sure your potential employer pays you well, can accommodate you, respects you, and your condition. Like, you definitely don't want to get shit for having to take a day off because you need to go to the doctor. And then, especially if you are reliant on Social Security disability and Medicaid and other programs that will punish you for trying to work, you need to make sure that you get health care and other benefits that will make up for what you'll be losing by working. And that's a lot to deal with. That's a lot of frickin' pressure. Especially on a system that punishes you for trying to be normal, for trying to get better. And I don't like to get political because I like to take a break from politics in the real world by streaming. But, you know, I'm going to mention politics as it is relevant to this particular stream and the topic of disability. You might have heard that for the whole Social Security or Social Security disability argument is like, oh, those people just sit on their ass and they don't want to work. It's not just that. Because there are some people that do want to work, but literally the system will punish them and take away vital services that they need if they try to work and try to be normal. So sometimes the whole sit on your ass narrative, it's not true because all they want to do is sit on their ass. It's true because they'll get punished if they don't. So you never really win as a disabled person. And the cat's in the sewing machine again. TJ, seriously. Just gotta stop. Get off the sewing machine. Thank you. You ruined a very poignant moment in the stream, cat. Well, you're still fluffy and cute, and I love you. But you can't climb on the sewing machine, I swear to God. And Adam's saying this is worse, but I know there's worse out there. Looks at idol industry. Oh yeah, that's another thing. It's really rough. And that's the other thing too, because the VTuber industry is very much built off of the idol industry, especially in Japan. It's a little bit easier in America. Like there are very few talents that have gotten harassed in America for, you know, having boyfriends or having a personality or like a life outside of streaming and being an idol. So it's a little bit better in America, but still, because the VTubing industry was built off of the back of the idol industry, you still kind of have a lot of stuff that's still, you know, the traditionalists don't really want to get over, but it's a little bit better over here. A little bit. But yeah, so, TJ, goodness. I don't know if you hear her, she's like rubbing her face against the microphone, and she's biting me. Stop, goodness. What's up with you? I don't get... Are you trying to say hi to the chat? Are you trying to derail stream and say hi to the chat by rubbing your face against the microphone? Goodness, cat. You're such a little weirdo. Goodness. But yeah, so, you know, you see all of this, and it's like, well, no wonder disabled people can't really function in society, because society basically punishes them for, like, everything. That's why a lot of disabled people end up having, like, end up being very entrepreneurially minded, because it's like, okay, well, the system is against me, so I might as well make my own system. I'll make my own company. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll be my own boss. You know, I'll work independently. But even that can be very difficult, because there's not always a guarantee that you're going to keep your current health insurance, especially if you have Medicaid, which is, for those not in the US, Medicaid is the closest we have to free healthcare, but it's really restricted to disabled people, the elderly, and poor people. So if you're not one of those three categories, you're on your own, which is unfortunate, but unfortunately that's the way the healthcare system in America is. And Adam's saying, you know, it's bad when industry is next to anything. Yeah, kind of seems that way. It's rough out here. It's rough in every sector right now. It's absolutely fucking bonkers, man. But yeah, there's a lot been there's just been so much about the whole VShojo situation, and more is just still coming out. Again, it's only Thursday, so there might still be more down the line at some point, and we just don't know, because again, each of the talents is going to have to talk to their own lawyers, because everyone has their own situation. Obviously, the charity getting their money, and just, you know, everyone who needs to be paid should be paid, and it's insane. And yeah, and there are even rats about Ironmouse was in someone's stream, and she was in their chat, and you know, from the rats channel. She was saying in their chat, if someone doesn't work there anymore, I should be able to tell something about what they used to tell me. You know, I would be told certain things about people, and I would feel like I was losing my sanity because they were fine with me when they spoke to me, and but they would tell me they hated me, so I started questioning my reality. Even people I worked with, I was like, what the fuck? How? I just saw them at that event, and what do you mean? So it seems like there was just a lot of gaslighting and internal, again, just Mean Girl, the home game. So there's just so much going on, and there's just so much emotions flying out, from everywhere, really. And you really just have to hope that all the talents can kind of heal, whether they join another agency in the future or just stay indie for a while. But yeah, this is gonna be in the news for a while. It could escalate to court, and because VShojo is a California-based agency, this will go to court in California. Jury selection takes a while. So they're facing bankruptcy, possibly workplace abuse. I think there were also rumors of, like, physical things happening during company meetings and parties and other events. So who knows what that even means? Like, do we have another sex pest situation like what was going on with Niji, Sanji, and Aster? And I was saying, Sam, this is getting depressing. I know what'll fix this. Cake! But yeah, it really is insane. So it is going to be a situation that's not really going to leave the public consciousness for a while. You know, it's bad when they make, like, mainstream normie news. Like, everything that happened with Niji, Sanji and all of Hololive's screw-ups over the past few years, those have pretty much stayed within the VTuber and, like, online content creator spaces, right? But the situation with VShojo has just exploded so much that it has reached the normies. Especially because it's, you know, touched, like, normie charities. Like, trying to help the sick and all that. It's absolutely bonkers. So what can we really conclude about the whole VShojo situation now? Well, all of its talents have left. And they're probably going to stay indie for a while, or try to, like, seek help from other agencies that are not, like, VTuber agencies. Like, again, I haven't heard anything bad about Mythic, so I think Mythic could be a viable option, especially if they're just a generic talent agency. But yeah, it's just too much to deal with, and I'm honestly just glad that I never really submitted my audition. Because the audition, honestly, I kind of wish I screenshotted it, like, just, like all the audition pages and all that, just, you know, for the sake of, like, you know, no one expects the VTuber company to explode, but I kind of wish I had just recorded the process in hindsight, and I kind of wish I hadn't deleted my, like, written audition and my script and my recording for when I attempted to audition. But I mean, hey, things happen for a reason. And yeah, I probably would have cringed myself to death if I did still have that recording and I would have played it on stream. You might have just seen me die on stream due to my own cringe. But yeah, what can we really conclude from all the current VShojo stuff that's happening now? Would have been an odd alternate reality. Yeah. But yeah, so for now, what we know is that Ironmouse is fine. For now. We'll see what keeps happening down the line. The charity is gonna be fine. Because they raised more than double the amount that they were owed. Which, just for the sake of posterity, let's check it again and see if the number went up significantly more than before. Alright, so honestly, my guess is that they might hit 2 million or 1.5 million. So yeah, they're currently at 1,232,820.57. So yeah, that's still a lot of money, but they've far surpassed, you know, the $10,000 goal that was originally put for the fundraiser. And more than that, they've earned back the original amount that they were owed by VShojo and then some, so, you know, congrats to them. And that's really freaking amazing. And I'm saying, I mean, I think everyone should just go solo until they can't, you know? Yeah. And that's the thing, like, there are a lot of people, I think there are a lot of fans who definitely mean well, because they're so used to seeing their favorite talent in an agency, they just keep suggesting other agencies to the talents. But yeah, it takes a lot. It's like leaving an abusive family. Like, you can't forget your family of origin. So just, like, you know, sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need a break for yourself. Like, you can't just, like, up and join another family. Like, once your family falls apart or once you leave an abusive family. So, you need time to heal first before you try that again. So, you know, Ironmouse is fine for now. Charity's gonna be fine. VShojo announced that they're shutting down. So at least, you know, we kind of have closure there. So that in itself is closure. Even if, you know, they're probably gonna go to court and people are gonna go to jail or otherwise get fined like buko dollars. It's good. They're not leaving the news cycle for a while. That's what I'm saying. So, you know, the rats. Where the rats? Where the rats? Where the rats? So the rats are gonna be eating. And oh boy, is it fun to be a VTuber rat. Meanwhile, the other talents are probably still, you know, gonna be fine. And most of all, Ironmouse will get better. Because as hard as this kind of situation is, she's already persevered. And again, as a disabled person who has succeeded as much as she is, she's a role model to many people. She's the reason why I did want to audition for VShojo initially. Or why I thought, like, I might as well give it a shot. But, you know, it's not gonna dampen who she is. Like, she's more than proof that she can succeed on her own without the help of an agency. And it's really just up to her in the end if she wants to participate with an agency at all in the future. And I'm saying, we got the cake. And Shadowfox saying, it doesn't dampen the fact that VShojo will probably never pay back the talents. But knowing their fans, they'll still be able to get donations. Exactly, like, the fans are not going to leave the talents anytime soon. TJ, what are you doing to the monitor? What are you doing? Get off the desk. And stop biting me, for goodness sake. No. No. Get. What's your obsession with the sewing machine? Okay, I don't have the paper towel stick because she did something with it, but I have a paper towel roll, like with the paper towel on it. Yes, become hedgehog. Stick your head in the tube. And don't eat the paper. God, it's such a weird little cat. Stop. No, get off the desk. Goodness, cat. Oh my God, this cat's out of control. I don't know what to do with you, cat. You're crazy. You drive me nuts. I love you, but my goodness, you're crazy. I should set up a cat cam. That would be a horrible idea, because you can't stay still. Okay. So that's honestly just kind of my concluding thoughts on the VShojo situation. Like, they've announced that they're shutting down, so no one's probably going to get paid. Or they would have to go through the courts in order to get paid. So they're definitely not going to leave the news cycle for a while, and it's going to be... the rats are going to be eating well for the season, that's for sure. And we'll just see what happens. But ultimately, VShojo's downfall is a lesson in why you support your talents first and why you follow the talent, not the agency. And my cat's attacking a roll of paper towels. All because she wouldn't get off the sewing machine. Goodness. Living with cats, man. Living with cats. Pretty... Goodness, cat. I don't... Stop! And now she's taken the entire roll of paper towels. But anyway, here I am. Relatable paper towel. Yeah, I don't know why this cat is the way she is, but she is the way she is, and I love her, but I wish she would behave better. But ultimately, we'll just kind of continue to see what happens with VShojo. I'm glad I dodged a bullet, because even if I didn't end up getting in, or even if I got in and never debuted, I mean, filling out the application, you know, they still ask you for your information, like what's your name, what's your social media handles, what kind of content do you make, what's this, what's that, and it seems like in addition to stealing money, they've also just been stealing ideas from so many other people. And like apparently it was, oh my goodness, cat, get your hand off of the monitor. No. You're gonna break everything. Stop. Ugh. No. I do not want to have to fight with you on stream, cat. Goodness. You need to relax. I gave you wet food. God. But yeah. Cats love making it about them. Ugh. It's like I had 3, so I know. Yeah. I've had 3 over the course of my life too. I have 2 of them now. A late cat, and I guess I also have my grandpa's cat. Was my first interaction with a cat. My grandpa's cat told me that cat's the reason why you never pee alone as a human. You never pee alone as a human if you have a cat. And like my current 2 cats taught me that you know, they are chaos demons first and foremost. And also the cats can be weirdly invisible. But yeah, I don't know why TJ's being so spicy tonight. I have no idea why. Pain in my butt. I love her, but she's being a pain in my butt right now. Gave me a pretty good scratch. So that's fun. And like half a scratch on the other hand. That's cool. Ugh! But yeah. Ultimately, when it comes to VTubing, you follow your talents. Like, I'm not signed with an agency. Presumably, y'all are here just to kind of hang out with me in a virtual space, which I really appreciate. But, like, if I was tied to an agency, hopefully that wouldn't change. Hopefully you'd still be here for me, and not, like, the hypothetical agency that I were to hypothetically be in or get into. And especially if, you know, the streamer you like is, you know, immunocompromised or otherwise sick or disabled, then, you know, even more reason to support the talent over the agency. Because the agency can come or go at any time, but the talent will hopefully still be there. And it's the talent that needs your help more than, you know, the agency. And of all the talents, I feel the worst for Mint, because all she wanted to do was be an idol group, and the theme fit her character. That's the other thing too, because with the whole VShojo audition thing, it started last year, and there were people who got in, but it wasn't announced publicly. They were supposed to debut this year, though. Let me see, let me get the VShojo page back up. But yeah, they were going to debut this year, and it just kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and lo and behold, now VShojo is going to be no more. Now it's shutting down. So under all these other members, you know, now they've all left the agency. Never debuted. Following the company's collapse in July 2025, it was revealed that several VTubers were signed over to the lifetime of the company, but never debuted. Mint Phantom proposed and signed to create an idol generation, which would have included 2024 audition winner Phoebe-chan and another unrevealed member. At least 4 others were revealed to have passed the 2024 EN auditions and were going to debut as a Monster Girl generation that would have included P.A.P. UFO, Berry Bug, and Tori Oriane, and another unrevealed member. Momo had also revealed that she had signed on with VShojo from 2019 to 2021, but never debuted under the company. So, okay, that I didn't know. So you had someone that signed as early as 2019 and signed on for like 2 years, but they never debuted? Okay, that's new to me, but my goodness, the level of mismanagement here is insane. But yeah, like, Minter got so screwed over because, you know, she was already with an agency that screwed her over and screwed over her chances of advancing as a streamer. She left, graduated with that agency, became an indie again, and has done really well as an indie. She collabed with Matara. She never saw a penny of the merch that she did when she collabed with Matara. And all she wanted to do was start an idol group and just do cool things, and then lo and behold, another company screwed her over. So, and I believe, like, even she said, like, quote unquote, everyone in heaven is cursed. So, like, all the former Niji talents, whether they became indies or joined with their agencies, it happened all over again. They went through the trauma twice. So yeah, it's impossible to not feel bad for Mint in that situation, because all she wanted to do was just do cool things. Like, that's all that any, like, content creator wants to do. They just want to do cool things. And if you have an agency that's preventing you from doing cool things, and preventing you from advancing in your goals, that's gonna frickin' suck. It's like, of course there's a lot of pain to be had there. It's horrible. But yeah, so it's like, VShojo dying, just honestly it's a good riddance kind of situation where it's like, wow, you treated your talents this horribly this entire time and kept it under wraps, and now everyone's coming out about it? Yeah, you never really deserve to be in business. And there are some people saying, like, it sounds like a situation where people liked the idea of playing business, of playing businessman, did the thing, but then didn't know how to do the thing once the company had gotten big enough. Which is a shame, because, like, when you start a business, you kind of gotta know what you're doing. You don't gotta be a professional. You don't have to have all the fancy degrees and certifications, unless your industry that you want to get into requires a number of certifications, but still. There's a lot more that goes into business besides just, oh, this will be pretty cool. So yeah, it's kind of a shitty eulogy, but, like, yeah, they're shutting down because Gunrun mismanaged all the funds. And, as much as they wanted to be talent first, yeah, the talents were the first to be screwed over, that's for goddamn sure. But other than that, hopefully the talents will come out okay in the end. Hopefully the money will find them, the money that they were owed from VShojo will find them again in some way, shape, or form. We've already seen that with Ironmouse's campaign for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. So, yeah, other than that, you just gotta support your talents first. Yeah, if you care about someone and the content they make, you have to support them, because if you don't support them, they can just disappear. The organizations will come and go, content creators will come and go, but, like, if you really like someone and you want them to succeed, you have to invest in them. And I don't mean investment as in, like, just financially, but also just, like, emotionally. Like, I think that, like, it's kind of savvy, but also kind of corny. But, there's a reason why people say, like, subscribe, leave a comment, do this, do that, and then they do those other call to actions. Because as much as it helps with, algorithm stuff, it is also nice, and it's also just very encouraging. It's like, oh, someone commented on my video that only had, like, 10 views, that's really cool. Or, oh, I have a certain amount of likes on a video that I didn't think would succeed, that's freaking awesome. So there are so many ways to support a talent that you like without, needing to bust out your wallet or your credit card, or grab your jar of coins and flick it at your screen. And I was saying, oh, I have a perfect example for that. There was a guy who opened a burger shop across the street from my old man's donut shop. It filed for bankruptcy after a year, and this wasn't his first time. Oh. I don't know why, but the idea just occurred to me I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of Brad Eats. It's summertime, so maybe that's why I'm thinking of it. Like, you know, you have donuts, you have burgers, so like, maybe they could have joined forces and made like a donut burger. And it wasn't his first time. He got 3 pizza places shut down on the East Coast. Oof. But yeah, it's hard to run a business. It's hard to run any level of business, whether you're like a major corporation or you're just like, you know, like a single, it's a sole proprietor. Yeah, that's what it's called, a sole proprietor, where you're doing everything yourself. It's hard. It requires a lot of energy. My arteries. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I got glazed. I got a box of glazed donuts. It's in my kitchen right now, but I can only imagine, especially if you have like a glazed donut, like that with a burger. My goodness, you're gonna end up with some sticky and greasy fingers with that. Yeah, I don't know. It's very difficult being in like the entertainment industry, and being in streaming is being a part of the entertainment industry. Just because you're not like collabing with like Britney Spears or like a Kardashian, or like a major musical act or something, it doesn't mean you're not in the entertainment industry, because, I mean, I'd like to hope that what I'm talking about is entertaining to some people at least. But still, like, we've got a long way from, like, the 2010s where YouTube was still, like, considered, like, oh, it's just kind of a running fad, and you know, it's not really going to go anywhere, like, oh, it's just a hobby, or, like, oh, these kids are gonna disappear within, like, a year or so. Like, there are YouTubers that cameo in movies now. There are YouTubers that, you know, have had families and have saved their families from poverty because they do YouTube full-time or do YouTube part-time. There are so many, like, businesses of, like, so many different shapes and sizes that have a YouTube channel just because, you know, it's a platform with which to show off their business and, you know, talk about their business and, like, gain an audience and gain traction for their business and that kind of thing. So, like, even this is me participating in the entertainment industry, just as like a solo talent, I suppose, with my cats that occasionally interrupt me. Yes, TJ, you're being a brat today. I don't know why. That doesn't take away from my love for you, but I still wish you would behave better, and also that scratch you gave me still hurts. Good thing I had birthday cake, because if not, I'd be craving sweets. Someone actually made that with Krispy Kreme donuts. I think that was a fad a few years ago, but I wouldn't eat it. Yeah. But yeah, kind of a... It's been a pretty crazy week for streaming news this week. And it's gonna get crazier over the coming months, or however long it takes for, I guess, VShojo to settle all their affairs legally, and then we'll just have to see what happens, because again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how it'll play out in court. I probably know how they'll go with jury selection, like, okay, now that it's made the mainstream news, who here in this in this jury selection room hasn't heard of VShojo? Who here hasn't heard of what a VTuber is? That's gonna be something. That is, I would love to just be a resident of California just for like a week when jury selection's going on, just pop my head into the room, see what happens. And my goodness, but yeah, it also gets even more complicated because they weren't just hiring American talents, they were hiring talents from all over the world, which is both a cool thing and a detrimental thing about being a VTuber agency, because if your talents are all over the world, you have to deal with international lawyers and international laws as well. So, you know, even more luck to the talents that should. It's a lot. It's way too much going on. I just hope that all the talents get their money that is owed to them back in some way, shape, or form. And anyone else who has worked with VShojo hopefully gets their money back in some way, shape, or form. The investors, my goodness. I can only imagine how the investors who invested in VShojo must be feeling. Because what did they do with that $11 million that they raised to start the company in the first place? Where's that? Where did all that money go? And is it recoverable? Like, can they pry it out of Gunrun's hands to give it to the people who it belongs to? And then, in the end, where did the money for the charity go to? Because how do you lose $500,000 or misappropriate $500,000? It's absolutely insane. But yeah. We gotta touch on a lot of subjects, and sometimes I'm not really good at sticking to one topic, but I mean, we've covered a lot, hopefully. And yeah, it's just so crazy that within a week your company just explodes and dies. And now there's just all this fallout. And now the talents are gonna end up paying for it for who knows how many years, really. Well, yeah. I don't know. I think I kind of ran out of things to say, because... yeah. On the one hand, I think I kind of lost my focus, but on the other hand, again, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't really talk about anything else from a legal perspective. But I think I've already talked about, like, the disability perspective, because, again, until we can confirm that the NDAs are now just null and void, my money is on crypto and drugs. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine if someone at VShojo was just using all the money for crypto and drugs? I mean, they might have been researching AI VTubers. There was someone who built a robot arm for them. So... don't worry, Sam. As soon as you end the stream, the news will come out a minute later. That's actually the thing. So, when the news originally dropped, I had just gotten home from doing laundry. So I saw the Ironmouse video in my feed, watched it, immediately went to the rats section of Reba server, and it's like, why is it every time I come back home from doing laundry, VTuber news happens? So we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, as soon as the NDA is confirmed to be null and void, and as soon as each talent's individual lawyer advises them, okay, now you can speak on this, or oh, you should keep this secret, but you can speak on this in vague terms at least, then we'll know. And if anyone has receipts, I guess we'll just see how the receipts, play out and how it shapes the company. Because it is just absolutely bonkers. Like, news has literally been coming out minute by minute by minute. It's crazy. But yeah, so... again, especially depending on, like, what Ironmouse ends up revealing later on, and once she's allowed to talk about this kind of thing, and talk more about her experiences... my money is on maybe VShojo violated something with the Americans with Disabilities Act. And maybe they have the audacity to think, oh, just because she's in Puerto Rico doesn't mean that those laws apply to her. That's one of my major guesses. That's on my bingo card. Actually, actually, it's morbid, but why don't we make a bingo card to see... just as, this situation keeps evolving, let's just see how bad it continues to get. Where's my pen? There's my pen. Cool. So let's make a bingo card. Crap, how many sections do bingo cards usually have? Okay, this is gonna be a pretty fucked up bingo card. VTuber Fallout bingo card is crazy. Sometimes you gotta make your own fun in the chaos. Okay, this is gonna be a fucked up bingo card. I'll do something about it later. Because, yeah, you have to keep in mind, this will probably go to court. So we'll just have to see what happens. So, if anything, it might be useful to make a bingo card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Cinder returns somehow. Oh my god. Well, actually, so on Ironmouse's Tiltify campaign for the Immune Deficiency Foundation, there was someone who donated $6,666 that marked their name as Cinder, but mind you, that could be anyone just using the name just for hee-hees. We don't know if it's actually factually, like, the Cinder. The It's Just Business Cinder. We don't know if it's actually her. Alright, so... Actually, let me make a folder for this in Clip Studio. VShojo, file on bingo card. And, okay. So... with that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay. So we have a free space. Because you always gotta have a free space in the middle. Alright, for this one... violated the Americans with Disabilities Act. Okay, my caps lock has just been so weird. I think I need to attack it with some compressed air again. So that's mine. I'm gonna put Adam's suggestion of they spent the money on crypto. I'm gonna put drugs in its own category. They spent the money on drugs. If it ends up in court, I'm gonna put a box for court date confirmed. Let's see. What else can we put in here? If I see a video saying Sitter got approached as well. Alright, I'm also seeing a suggestion for they gambled with the money. They gambled the money away. What do we win if we get a bingo? Do we get the love and approval of a father figure? I don't know. Okay, you know what will be fun, actually? So if any of these things happen, and if any one of you gets a bingo, I'll make you a PNG tuber model. Like, it doesn't matter if you actually intend to use it for actually streaming, but it would just be... That'd be fun. That's a thing I could do, if anyone gets a bingo. I mean, this would be a very depressing bingo to get, but you gotta have fun being a rat somehow. Let's see. So, spent the money on drugs, violated the ADA, which is my big-ticket guess, gambled the money away, confirmed court date, spent the money on crypto. What else could they possibly do? I guess I could put Cinder approached. So Cinder approached to join VShojo. What else is there? Like, what else? Like, let's think of all the things that could have gone wrong with VShojo and VShojo's management and how they handle all their services. Does whaling on gacha games count as gambling too? Oh yeah, because there were people that apparently worked for VShojo that were just spending all their time gaming. So that could also count. So, wail too hard in gacha games while on the clock. What if there was what if there was the VTuber management island? Goodness. An island full of VTuber managers? VShojo managers? That sounds like hell. Let's see. Okay, no, I thought of one. NDAs are voided. Because that's kind of a big one that people are looking forward to, because if the company's shutting down, and they don't have money to sue, but especially if they're dissolving and shutting down, you can't obey an NDA if there is no company to enforce the NDA. So that's going to be a big one, if the NDAs are null and void. What else is there? Someone at VShojo gets prison time. Because again, stealing money from charity, that's a federal crime! That's not just regular jail and prison, that's fuck me in the ass prison. So... yeah, I think that's definitely likely, especially, you know, if we get, like, a confirmed court date. I think that's probably going to happen. Especially if they can't find the money to make it right. Just put it all in the stock market good. We could put a... I was just gonna say someone was a sex pest. Oh, that's... Oh, I got a good one. Payment for services in exposure. Hopefully not Niji stock. Oh my god. Well, if they saw themselves as a rival to Niji, they wouldn't. You don't invest in your rival's stock. Like, not unless you want to short it. But I don't know if people at VShojo were that smart with the money. What else can we put here? Violated the ADA. Free space. Spent the money on crypto. Wailed too hard on the gacha games while on the clock. Confirmed. Spent money on drugs. Sex pest. Cinder was approached to join. They gambled the money away. Someone at VShojo gets prison time. Well, I heard some people were ex-Nijis, so I'm not sure if that's a rat or not. That could be a good one. Another ex-Niji was approached. Well, then again, we've already gotten some confirmed ex-Nijis coming out about, like, oh, they wanted to poach me from Niji. Or, you know, from my previous agency, because they can't say that they were with Niji, but we all know. You know, I can't think of anything else to put on the bingo card. Let's see, because I know... I'm tempted to put something related to the Talon's family, because they got Silvervale's mom to sign an NDA, and Silvervale's mom was never in any of her content, was she? I guess I could put Talon's family speak out. Let's see, what else can we put here? Actually, if I investigate the rat channel, maybe I'll get some ideas. Actually, kind of think of where the heck is the... There we are. There's the rats. Oh goodness, I see Kirsha in the rat channel. Oh boy. Oh, that could be another good thing to put on the bingo card. Like, a problematic talent. Problematic, controversial talent approached to join VShojo. Yeah, I can't think of anything else at the moment. All out of ideas for right now. Oh yeah, there was also some drama with the lawyers where apparently some of the lawyers were like they didn't have active law licenses. Like their licenses were not in date. So maybe something will happen with their lawyers. I feel really about my temp with this one. Yeah. I see Giga posting a Kendrick Lamar pic. I was joking about the sex fest. Oh god. But yeah, like VShojo's definitely not leaving the news for a while, so I mean, again, a bingo card is a very morbid way to cope with the situation, but considering all that's going on, it'll be interesting to see what happens and like what comes true and what doesn't. Just what gets revealed. Oh, that'll be like what if the Immune Deficiency Foundation tries to sue VShojo? I mean, granted, they might have said something about it already because I believe the Immune Deficiency Foundation posted a video today, like, saying, you know, thank you to Ironmouse. I haven't actually watched it yet. But we'll see. Another one I guess another one I could think of is, talent in debt as a result of non-payment. Ooh, that one's really squished, but I could always just find like a bingo board template online somewhere and then make it nicer later on. But yeah, ultimately we'll have to see what happens. But I think these are pretty good guesses so far. Let's see. Okay, no, I have a very unfortunate guess. Talenter. Because if this does go to court, unfortunately, talents will end up getting doxxed, which leads me to another guess. Everything settles out of court. Out of court. Or in mediation. Okay, hopeful guess. This one's hopeful. IDF gets the original $500,000 back. That's a hopeful guess. We don't always have to go into despair and sadness. Riots in the streets? I don't think it'll go that far. But I mean, there are plenty of upset fans already. Oh, that actually makes me think. Fans just destroying VShojo merch. Yeah, because sometimes, like, when something you like gets revealed to be problematic or just, you know, made by horrible people, you know, there are people who go as far as, like, destroying or reselling or giving away all their merchandise. Well, let's see. So we have, like, one hopeful one. Really, I thought that was the theme of the stream. Well, there aren't really so much riots in the streets, but there are a lot of upset people for, you know, a lot of good reasons, really. I just realized it wasn't really saving to the folder that I wanted it to save in, so this is me trying to repair that. Okay, I have another hopeful guess. They find all the money out of VShojo's mattresses! That actually kind of relates to another hopeful guess that I have. Talents get back the money they were owed. It would be nice to have some more hopeful guesses. We could also put missing money found. Niji Sister Star drama related to VShojo. I think they're probably already doing that, but I don't watch any Niji Sanji talents, so I wouldn't know. I'm not really in a lot of Niji circles. The only time I did anything Niji related was when I voice acted for Rima on the Niji Sanji is actually a Black Company video, and that was it. Niji Sister drama. VShojo fans. We have one more. Unless I can think of more boxes and I can expand the grid further, but who knows. Like a standard bingo card is basically a 5x5 anyway, so... We have one more. What do we want to... It'd be nice to have another hopeful guess. But let's see. What else can we put in here? I actually just realized that the Cinder approach to join VShojo and the problematic/controversial challenge approach to join VShojo are kind of the same thing. So we could also replace the Cinder one. So if we could think of two more. The cat did it? Actually, okay, I think I can replace Cinder got approached with, the lawyers of the talents start talking. Alright, so I'll replace the Cinder specific one. So let's see. Well, the lawyer's talking. That's more of a neutral one. If we could get another hopeful one, that'd be pretty cool. Like another hopeful guess, so it's not all doom and gloom. Let's see. I can't think of anything else. A third party gives the talent all $1 billion. Well, I think they're all gonna be fine because, again, they have all their fandoms and stuff. Like the talents are more than set. It's just now they have beef with this company that just ran out of money by some oopsie daisy. Let's see, so lawyers start talking, everything settles out of court / in mediation. They gamble the money away. Someone at VShojo gets prison time. Bad investments on the stock market. Someone in VShojo JP is related to the Yakuza. No, not Keisan. Oh boy. Well, that's not really a hopeful one. This more guesses related to the company or prospective talents rather than... Oh, I thought of one. Another kind of neutral / hopeful one. Remaining audition winners come out. Hey, okay, so we got a bingo card going. Alright, I think this is pretty good. Alright, so far this is the bingo card that we have assembled. So, y'all can fill out your free spaces with whatever already happened. You can check that box off. I'm gonna mark mine in blue because I like blue. So, I guess as more VShojo stuff drops, I guess I'll just keep talking about it, just to see what happens, especially if any of my guesses are correct. But other than that, it's all just a matter of seeing. I'm saying that a lot, but again, like, when it comes to court stuff, the courts move slowly, and that's partially by design, just to make sure that everything is accounted for. But we might not see a resolution to this for a couple years. Months in the best case scenario, years in the worst case scenario. That's just how long court stuff takes. So, yeah, but at least the charity, you know, Ironmouse has earned more than double of what they were originally owed, so the charity's gonna be fine. Ironmouse is gonna be fine. The talents are gonna be fine, but they just need more time to heal, so it's best just not to approach them with like, oh, you should join this agency instead, join that agency, join my agency. I don't know who's ballsy enough to say that, but everyone just kind of needs to calm down with the agency talk, because their agency literally just imploded upon themselves. That's like saying, oh, your house caught fire? Oh, you should stay at the firehouse. They'll be safe. That's a safe place to stay. It's like, no, you just cool it. I know you're used to them being in a corpo. Maybe you think a corpo was in their best interest. You gotta calm down. Like, no one wants to hear that. Like, oh, your house caught a fire. Stay at the firehouse. Or, oh, you lost your job? Get another job. No, they're fine. They don't want to hear it. You're not being helpful by suggesting another corporation for them to join. Hello, cat. Do you have any suggestions or guesses as to what'll happen with VShojo? Maybe they'll start a pet branch. Nah, you can never be a VTuber, TJ. You're too chaotic. You couldn't stay still even if I were to set up a cat cam. And you bit me. Fantastic. She's too chaotic to be a streamer cat. I could never just set up a cat cam and expect her to stay in one place. Dusty, on the other hand, who you haven't really heard from much lately because she's mostly just been hiding in corners and just isolating herself. She'd be perfect for a cat cam. But all she really does is sleep. So, yeah, not really much going on in the cat's world. One is being chaotic, one is being very quiet. But yeah, so hindsight is 2025, I guess. I'm glad I never submitted an audition to VShojo because even if I hadn't gotten in, which I never expected to get in the first place, they still would have ended up getting my information as a result. If I did get in, I mean, hey, I would have automatically had a social group to vent about the situation with other VTubers. But I'm not in that group. I'm not in the in crowd, so not much really changed except my VTuber concept and time. And yeah, we'll just see what happens, especially if the NDAs get null and voided. Now we have a bingo card. If we think of anything else, we can just expand the bingo card. And we'll just see what happens, because that's all we really can do. But I know that the talents are going to be fine, and again, because of Ironmouse's condition, she does serve as a beacon of hope and inspiration for a lot of people. So, hopefully she can still just keep being herself and do what she wants to do. And hopefully put this bad experience behind her. And, hopefully everyone gets the money that they're owed eventually. And, time goes on, basically. There's nothing else we can do about it. But anyway, there's just a lot going on at once in the VTuber world right now, and things are constantly imploding. So I'm glad I got to talk about the VShojo situation from a disability perspective, as someone who is not only disabled, but is familiar with, the disability world as it were. And who's more familiar with, disability systems and organizations and how they might help a patient. I've also discussed it on my last... on my last sci-fi themed stream where I was talking about how robots could actually be a boon to the disability sphere, where not only could they fill gaps in caretaker work, but they could also benefit disabled people who might only need on-call services, or who might not want a human to help them at all, at least to have a machine option. So I guess I just have a lot of opinions related to the field, as someone who volunteers in this field a lot, as someone who has first-hand experience dealing with caretakers and care workers and trying to adjust services and advocate not only for myself but for other people that I've known. It's a lot to deal with, so I see a lot of parallels between the disability world and what's currently happening in VShojo, and it's no one's really talking about it, so here I am, I guess. And yeah, pretty crazy when you think about it. And honestly, it's kind of another reason I became a hermit, because over the years I've just been kind of cooped up and I've acquired a lot of knowledge, so I'm glad that I'm able to just use my variety of knowledge in all these crazy and unique ways, drawing parallels people don't really think about. So yeah, I don't know. You make your own fun somehow. And for the millionth time, we'll just have to see what happens. And yeah. Outro. How do I do an outro? It's kind of a special occasion, so... Okay, hold on. Just making sure my AC was working. So, what do I do for the outro this time? Once again, I'm going to post the link for the Immune Deficiency Foundation and Mouse's Tiltify page for it. And Shadowbox saying, hit that like and subscribe button! Oh yeah, my usual like button! Subscribe which I haven't said in a while, actually, just because I've been doing a lot more different things, or I've been a little bit sick, or otherwise discombobulated. So I haven't been able to say that in a while now. So links. One link to Mousie's Tiltify for the IDF. So I got that one out of the way. I'm gonna link to myself because, you know, if you like what you see, if you want to help me keep making things and help me keep doing things and stuff like that, you always gotta support your talents. If you like what they do, it could be as simple as a like button, subscribe button, and other YouTube talk, and telling people you like about them. And then I have a throne. So if you'd like to financially support the channel, I have a throne. Throne is currently my only way of monetizing myself. If you see anything else claiming to be me, it is either severely outdated or it is a scam. The only way I am currently accepting any sort of financial assistance is through the throne. So yeah. So Mousie's Tiltify, my throne. Do you have anything else? I don't think I have anything else to promote. But yeah, if you like your talents, support them. Make sure they know that you care. And also just take care of yourselves. Because in the midst of the entertainment world drama, in the midst of all the VTuber drama, it's important to take care of yourself too. If you need to take time away from social media, whether you're a talent or just a fan, then do that. If you want to be a little bit of a rat, be a little bit of a rat. But don't go too crazy. You gotta make sure to take care of yourself. Even if you are trying to be a rat. Be a rat. Be a rat. Because as fun as being a rat can be, if you just can't take it anymore, you gotta take a break from it. If you see a suspicious Sam clone test, how they feel about keep up. Is that the Turing test for Sam clones? Like, because the Turing test is like to test if a robot can convince a human that they are a human. So is that the Turing test for Sams? Also considering giving by contributing to the throne. Adam can't do it alone. Says Adam. But yeah, again, like cat. No. Goodness, cat. Okay, I gotta pick her up again. I think I just have to hold her like a Bond villain. Come on. Don't scream like you're dying. Come here. Oh, you're such a little bratty baby. I love you, but stop being a brat. You gotta be a good girl. You're being such a bad girl. What if I just hold you like a little Bond villain cat? You'd make a great Bond villain cat, actually. Cat's want to end the streamer now. Yeah, maybe she can say like, Mom, you're stalling, you're not entertaining anymore, so just shush and pet me. Meow. But yeah, so I'm glad I got to kind of express my thoughts and my own perspectives on the VShojo drama. What? I'm trying to help. Okay, no, I appreciate it. Well, yeah, Adam is good company. Adam is a good horse, and has like amazing crafts. Like holy shit, Adam has such cool crafts and craft stories. It's so cool. Like seriously, if you were to ever just like start like a podcast or like a YouTube or become like a woodworking PNG tuber, that would be so cool. Like I would love to see you just in your element. That'd be awesome. And yeah. And, like, I have made the offer, like, whenever you open that shop, I will just plug your stuff, like, constantly, so that way people can see your amazing crafts. So, yeah. I don't know. Really, like, when it comes to, especially being something as, like, being a VTuber, where you can start out absolutely microscopic, and not get, like, any traction at all, except for, like, maybe 2 or 3 people that watch you consistently. And, like, yeah, people gotta take care of each other. Like, if you like your talents, you take care of your talents, and then as a talent, it's like, okay, well, I have to take care of my fans. Like, What are their likes and interests? What are their names? What do they do? What do they like about my content? But also, like, they're cool friends and stuff. Like, are they good people? Can I talk to them, like, casually? And that kind of thing. So, I don't know. Like, in my year of being, or, like, I think it's been almost, it's either going on a year and a half or it's almost a year and a half. But yeah, like, in my year of being a vtuber, it's been a lot of fun. I've improved a lot. I've noticed positive changes within myself. And that it's kind of like, huh, I'm actually noticing that I've changed for the better when I see a whole company implode. So, yeah, it's a lot. But I mean, you know, even in the rubble of a whole company imploding, there are still good things to come out of it. It's still good things to come out of a bad experience. So ultimately, we'll just see what happens. And although what sucks for me is that I don't use the bird hell anymore. I don't check the former bird site anymore. And I think my account might have gotten deleted due to inactivity, but I'd have to double check. And it's a shame that these talents aren't really on Blue Sky, because I just have to find all the drama secondhand. That's part of why I'm in the Rats channel on Remus server. But we just gotta keep seeing how it evolves, especially on like a legal level now that the company's actually announced that they're shutting down and they are bankrupt. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, anyway, I'm glad I streamed tonight. I've procured food, so no one has to worry about telling me to eat. I got myself a pizza because I didn't trust myself enough to cook. I've been struggling with fatigue a lot today, so I got a pizza from the outside world, and it is delicious. So I have pizza, so don't worry about me eating. And you know, thank you for being such a cool audience. Thank you for tolerating me and my chaos and my craziness. And I will see you guys next time. And shout out. Oh my goodness, cat! Oh, ripped the headphones right out of my ears. Goodness. Anyway, here I am. And yeah, everyone is still unfortunately on Twitter. I wish more people would migrate to Blue Sky, but yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And until then, I hope you all have a good night. I hope you all have a good sleep. I hope you all eat well. And I also hope the cat doesn't knock over my monitor again, I swear to God. But anyway, bye!